education system in Kenya is dying. And they will not remind Kenyans that only a short 2.5 years ago in 2022, parents did not know whether their children would finish grade 6 and move to secondary schools or move to junior secondary in primary schools, how the CBC program, which is now CBE, would be transitioned from the old 844. Parents were unclear. The high priest of internal pessimism will want Kenyans to forget that a short 2.5 years ago, our young men and women in our universities had their universities being closed down because of debts. But courtesy of the new funding program, Honorable Speaker, today our public universities are standing on their own and on the path to recovery. It has not been a painless journey, Honorable Speaker, but at least there is progress being made, and that is the optimism, Honorable Speaker, that we must continue injecting to Kenyans, not injecting pessimism, negativity, bad-mouthing, and misinformation and disinformation, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, you know I could speak on and on and on and on. But this speech, Honorable Speaker, gives the people of Kenya hope that indeed, as the President challenges us to reject small thinking, let us reject small thinking of 1 terms, 2 terms, 4 terms, 5 terms. It is possible today that the nations we envy, the Singapores, the South Koreas, the Malaysias, whose Prime Minister was here the other day, it is possible for Kenya to rise like those countries. But those countries rose because their leaders were bold when others feared. They were decisive when others, like those of our leaders in this country in the past, hesitated. And they were visionary when others settled for less. We must continue being visionaries. We must continue being bold, being courageous, and we must not settle for less. Let us walk the talk. And I invite this House, Honorable Speaker, to continue exhibiting the courage and the boldness that we have exhibited over the last 2.5, almost 3 years, Honorable Speaker, in making the right decisions for the people of Kenya. I know at times it's very good for us, Honorable Speaker, as politicians, to say the things that we know are going to excite the masses out there. But when the masses discover you're only talking for the sake of talking to excite them, they will punish you. So fear not when people tell you that you will go home. You will go home to find a happy people if you made the right decisions for them. Be bold, be courageous in making decisions. And Honorable Speaker, allow me in conclusion, as I conclude, to take this opportunity to, in a very special way, to welcome our brother and colleague, the member for Mosop, the Honorable Abraham Kirwa, who, Honorable Speaker, was unwell, and through the prayers of the people of Mosop and many Kenyans, God has seen him through to get back to the House and continue making the bold decisions I'm talking about and working in the best interest of the people of Mosop and the country. Honorable Kirwa, welcome back to the House. And I take this opportunity not just to welcome you, but to thank the Almighty God and the many Kenyans, especially the great people of Mosop, who have continued to pray for you to fully recover. And it is indeed great to see you here, well, walking on your own and being able to come and represent the people of Mosop and work as a member of parliament that they elected. And I thank the people of Mosop, particularly for being patient and being supportive to the Honorable Kirwa when he was in this post. And we wish you all the best, and thank God for being there for you. Continue serving the people of Mosop and the people of Kenya with the diligence that you have done over the last 2 years, with the courage that you have exhibited, that even at a time when Honorable Kirwa was unwell and out of the country being attended to, he had the courage even to come online and vote when he was called on to come and vote for what was important for this country, Honorable Speaker. That Honorable Kirwa had the courage to even organize programs, bursary disbursement in his constituency to make sure that he's following up the needs of his people. This is the resilience, Honorable Speaker, that the President was talking about. And I thank God for the Honorable Kirwa and thank the people of Mosop for the support that they have given to their Member of Parliament. And indeed, Honorable Speaker, because I just spoke about 2 terms and 1 terms, I want to encourage the people of Mosop to give the Honorable Kirwa an opportunity when the time comes to serve for a 2nd term in this House, Honorable Speaker, because he has a very clear vision and plan for the people of Mosop. And that I know because I constantly engage with Honorable Kirwa and I've been speaking to him while he was away. And you can see the love and the passion that he has for the people of Mosop. It's not normal, Honorable Speaker, for a member who is sick, any human being who is unwell, and instead of worrying about his own well-being, is worrying about the people he represents. That is the Honorable Kirwa, Honorable Speaker. And that tells you the kind of leaders that we have in this country who are empathetic to the people that they represent. And I want to encourage Kenyans, even as you insult members of parliament, left, right, and center, even as you threaten them, remember they have empathy for you, they love you, they work for you, and they make sacrifices for you. And they will remain resilient, even amidst the negativity, and even as we fight with those high priests of internal pessimism, as were described. And Honorable Speaker, with that, I beg to move, and I want to request the Honorable Kangogo Bowen, the indomitable member for Marakwet East, to second this motion. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, as I second, I also want to join the little majority to welcome the Honorable Kirwa to the House. And Mr. Speaker, and Madam Speaker, we really want to pray and to thank God because we've seen our fellow colleague back in his feet and able to represent his people, Mosop, in the House. Madam Speaker, I beg to second.
Honorable members, I now propose a question that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 24.6, the thanks of this House be recorded for the exposition of public policy contained in the address of His Excellency the President, delivered in Parliament on Thursday, 20th November 2025, and further, that this House notes the following report submitted by His Excellency the President in fulfillment of the provisions of Articles 132(1)(c) and 247 of the Constitution, laid on the table of this House on Tuesday, 25th November 2025, and those being the following documents: the 12th Annual Report on the measures taken and the progress achieved in the realization of the national values and principles of governance. 2, the 12th Annual Report on the progress made in fulfilling the international obligations of the Republic of Kenya. And 3, the Annual Report to Parliament on the state of national security. The Honorable Shakil Shabir, member for Kisumu East.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I stand to thank President Ruto and to recognize that was one of the best State of Nation speeches that I have heard. I know that earlier he spoke about vision, and now he was coming on the third one to talk about the story of where we are. Honorable Speaker, we must accentuate the positive at all times. Honorable Speaker, all these countries we have spoken about, Singapore, Malaysia, and others, and China had vision. Vision without implementation, Madam Speaker, is hallucination. We now have a president who has vision, and he's trying to implement it. Not everything that he has said will have been done. But, Madam Speaker, we need a visionary. We need a leader. I have been sitting in this House under President Kibaki, President Kenyatta for 2 terms, and now President Ruto. It is I am not seen to be a sycophant, but I can say one thing for a fact, that I have been watching and listening to vision. And now we are seeing what is happening. I was in Ghana not long ago. Ghana was independent in 1957. And guys like us who are all the time criticizing Kenya should go to Ghana and some other countries. 1957. And the sort of activities that we are seeing here are some things we have not seen. Madam Speaker, for 15 years, through President Kibaki, through President Ruto, and now President Uhuru, and now President Ruto, I have been crying and requesting and crying for the tarmacking of Chiga-Rabor Road. Do you know, Madam Speaker, it is only being now finalized, 12 kilometers. I have also been looking at many other respects, the Mamboleo Road. It has been sitting and sitting and sitting, but now it is being done. What I do not find very pleasing is people who are sitting on the sidelines are always criticizing. Criticism is good as long as it's positive and constructive criticism. Madam Speaker, one thing that hurts me, as I said, I've been here now for nearly 20 years. We do not disrespect our president under any circumstances. Go and try and disrespect your president in other countries, and you will see what happens. The fact that we have democracy here, if you go to Uganda, disrespect the president, you will see what happens. How come people call him, what was the name? I don't even know how to, I don't even know the thing, they call him. And it is a sad thing that you can call president names. He's the president of a company and the leader of your country. The vision that he has and the implementation that's taken place in the last 2 years are a great achievement. If this is what he will do in the next 2 years, we will be far. Madam Speaker, we wish and our vision is to be in the first world. We shall transit through the second world to get to the first world. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the President. If you go to Kisumu, we are seeing now affordable houses. I have never seen, I was the mayor of Kisumu, so many multi-stories there. Madam Speaker, I can tell you for one, I purchased one myself. Now we are talking about something that's happening. SHA is working, Madam Speaker. It is working. This morning I got a call from somebody whose wife was in the hospital and he had 35,000. He said SHA paid 25,000. Now that is working. Now these things about criticism, we are not going to criticize. Me, I'm an independent member of parliament. I will appreciate. Even Moses was not appreciated. Even Jesus was not appreciated.
Honorable members, I now want to use this opportunity to give an opportunity to speak to as we welcome him back, the Honorable Abraham Kirwa, member for Mosop constituency. Karibu and welcome back to Parliament.
Thank you.
And we thank God for you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to say thank you for welcoming me. I want to thank all the MPs in this House. Those who came to the hospital in Nairobi, those who came to Dubai, those who came to United States of America to see me. I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Because when you are in this post and somebody comes to see you, it really means a lot. It really means a lot. And it's not that I wanted to be sick or I wanted to go down, but some way, somehow, I got sick. So I really, really want to thank the speaker, first of all, for really allowing me, even in this time that I was away, that he will stand with me. But the person who stood with me and really stood out better is the clerk of the National Assembly. The clerk of the National Assembly went above and beyond to really make sure that I was okay. He came to the hospital here, in Nairobi Hospital. He came he sent people to Dubai. And every time there was a member who visited United States, he made sure that he came to see me. And I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Even when I arrived, he made sure that I was okay, everything was working well, and I want to thank him from the bottom of my heart. The next person who really stood and really, really helped me out is my wife. She was there from the beginning to the end. She's still there, and I want to say thank you, and thank you, and thank you. And I want to say also thank you for people of Mosop, because they understood that I was sick. And it is not that I wanted to be sick, but they understood that I was in this post. I've been gone now for 15 months, but somehow, the projects were going on. Those in the office were able to make sure that they followed the procedure and things was done and everything was going on well. But they were patient with me. And I want to thank the majority leader, Kimani Ichung'wah, for making sure that I was able to vote, I was able to participate in online voting, I was able to be welcomed back in style, and he was able also to make sure that I'm comfortable as I was sick, and now I am back to the house. I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And as a member, I want to mention something about healthcare. I am so happy that the president was able to just give the state of the nation. I know he has given before, and he gave a few days ago. I want to support his speech. He was very, 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 very straightforward. He's a very ambitious person. He talked about the roads that he is going to do some dual carriaging. For every nation to succeed and to move from that world to a first world, we have to have roads. We have to have experiences. We have to have roads that open up to cities, to centers, and even to the rest of the country. And so for the president to really want to do a dual carriage in most of the country, I want to just commend him and to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Another thing that this president has done is to make sure healthcare is done right. Healthcare is done right. That is why I was even sick. When I went to Nairobi Hospital, of course, my wife knew that I had a stroke. We even asked the doctor to really give me the medicine called a TPA, which would have stopped the heart attack at its roots. But some way, somehow, the doctor said, no, Mheshimiwa will be okay, and he will go home. Dr. Caro came, told the doctor the same, can you give him a TPA so that Mheshimiwa can be okay? The doctors at Nairobi refused to give me the medicine. At 2 o'clock, they told me I can go home. My wife told them, okay, before you go home, can we even do the checkup of his blood? It's when they did the blood work, and they gave me the paperwork, and they told me to go home. On my way home, before we went home, my wife asked them, did you read exactly what the paper says? And then she said, let me take to the doctor. When the doctor saw, they were now running everywhere to make sure that I get a bed. So I was there for 18 days. My heart was going down and down. When I was admitted at Nairobi Hospital, I was at 25% ejection fraction. It went down to 22, it went down to 20, it went down to 18, and it went to below 18%. In a week's time, I was going to die. But some way, somehow, God saw it, that I went to Dubai Hospital, and they told me, and this is something that I want to say. I know that it's very controversial. The Poisons and Control Board, I really want them to look at the medicine of this country. they told me to make sure that I leave all the medicine that I was given in Kenya, and they were going to give me their medicine. They gave me exactly the same medicine that I was given in Nairobi. But somehow, my heart now started going up from below 18% to 20, from 20 to 22, from 22 to 20 to 30, and I was now stable and ready to go. And I asked the doctor, why is it that the medicine that you gave me was able to work, but I was going to die in a week in Nairobi? They told me, you need to look at the medication that you have in Kenya. Most of the medication, they have a problem. And I'm asking the Poisons Control Board, because if they can actually give me the medicine that was not working, so many people who have been taken to that hospital have died. Because they tell you that, of course, their service is okay. They bring you tea, they bring you whatever, but their medicine, I want to ask the government and the Poison Control Board to look at it. Because if it's the same medicine, I would have gotten better here in Nairobi. But somehow, the pharmacy and the Poison Control Board needs to be checked and needs to be checked right. So I want to say thank you, and I want to ask to invest a lot of money in healthcare, because a healthy nation is a nation which is productive. It is so productive. And I'm asking the president to continue what he's doing in the healthcare. SHA is working. I want to tell you, SHA is working. Wait until you are sick, and then you'll realize that really SHA is working. So many people in my constituency, they go to the hospital and they get treated because of SHA. So I want to ask the Kenyans to make sure they enroll in SHA. But I want to ask the doctors also to be held accountable. Because if you go to the hospital and you tell the doctor, can you really check me out, what is the problem? They tell you it is malaria. They tell you if you are sick for this or you are sick. But before they check you, they look at you and they decide you have this disease. I really want to ask that there must be a board that is holding them liable, so that you can ask the questions to the doctor. Otherwise, they will continue, and so many of our sisters and brothers and our parents are going to die. With that, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, and may God bless you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Mary Kaitan.
Honorable Speaker, thank you for giving me this opportunity to contribute to the presidential address. But before that, Honorable Speaker, allow me to also join our majority leader in welcoming Honorable Kirwa back to the country, back to the House, as he continues to serve his people, the people of Mosop. And as I welcome him back, allow me also to thank the wife, Fraser Kirwa, who, without her, I don't think Honorable Kirwa would have been where he is today. Fraser has really given it all. And by the way, Fraser Kirwa comes from Honorable Ishungwa's constituency, but she's now our daughter in Mosop. So we want to say thank you to her. She's seated at the gallery up there, and we want to tell her thank you, continue taking care of Honorable Kirwa so that he can be able to continue serving the people of Mosop. And as Honorable Ishungwa has said, if there is someone who deserves a two-term at this stage, I think Honorable Kirwa, the people of Mosop should actually see in their hearts to give him a second opportunity so that he continues to serve them, because he has done a great job. Even while he was away, many projects are continuing in Mosop, and he's been following them through. We thank you, Honorable Kirwa. Despite your sickness, you've always continued to take care of your people. On the President's address, I want to say the things that the President talked about. If we look at our country from 2022 when we came into today, the country has really progressed, and we can see that Kenya is a different place from the country we got into in 2022 when we got elected into this 13th parliament. I want to thank the President for actually recognizing the efforts that this 13th Parliament has been able to give to this country, so that he is also able to then manage the country and be able to steer the country to where it is today. I will start with the energy sector. And for this country to develop, we need energy. And currently, our energy consumption is far less, energy production is far less than the consumption that we require, yet we want to move our country to a first world. And to be able to move our country to a first world, we need to go into manufacturing, just like the way the countries like China, countries like Singapore, countries like Korea, who do products like Samsung, are manufacturing products in their countries. And to do that, we need the basic infrastructure. One of the infrastructures being energy. The president has looked forward and futuristic and said that this country requires at least a minimum of 10,000 megawatts of power for energy or for production to be able to happen in this country. Related to energy is road infrastructure. And if we look at the roads that have been lined up, some that are currently ongoing, and those that have been lined up to be made in this country, you realize that the dream of being a first world is actually fast coming to a reality. If you look at the road, the expressway from Rironi to Mau Summit and all the way to Malaba, it will allow goods, it will allow that corridor, northern corridor, which is our business hub, to prosper and therefore be able to feed countries like Uganda, Rwanda, Congo, and the rest from the port of Mombasa. And if that happens, we make our port of Mombasa one of the busiest ports, and as well as get our goods internally from Kenya into the outside countries, and we are able then to grow our economy. If we look at issues like the housing and the markets, for us to be able to say we are growing our economy, we also need decent housing. Because some of the basic needs, we were taught in primary school that the basic needs that you require are food, shelter, clothing. And one of the basic needs being food and shelter is an issue, is a need that has been taken care of by our president very, very well. And today, every part of this country has an affordable housing that is coming up. The markets, for example. Our women who are told that they will be moved from the bottom to up. Today they have a decent place to do their business, a decent place to work, because a market has been built that has even places where their children can be able to play, they can be able to breastfeed their children as they continue to do their business and progress in their lives. And if you look at also the issues to do with education, I think the president has also progressed very well in education. From the time when we started in 2022 to now, 76,000 teachers employed, and by next year we'll have...
Just give her a minute. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. From the time we started to now, Honorable Speaker, we have 76,000 teachers, and we are expecting another 100,000 teachers by January to be employed. And finally, on the youth program, the Nyota program, that is a program that has really gone to help the youth and the youth to grow and know that they can be able to also build this country, build this nation by doing something that can also give them something into their pockets under the Nyota program, where they are getting 50,000 shillings to be able to start and grow a business. I think with all these and many more things that the president is looking at, we actually are moving Kenya from the current third world to being a first world country, and we want to join the president in the dream of moving Kenya to a first world country. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much. And honorable members, please be reminded that each member has 5 minutes. Reason being, there's a lot of interest from many members, so that everyone can have an opportunity. The Honorable Kainan, member for Elders.
Madam Speaker, dreams are valid. The State of the Nation address by the President has a number of positive issues that will add value to the well-being of the Republic of Kenya, Madam Speaker, starting from the issue of microeconomic reforms, national issues appertaining to national stability, the issues on food security, issues on housing and urban development, issues on digital transformation, issues on youth empowerment, issues on livestock sector, issues on healthcare outreach, issue on education access, issue of transport and logistics, issue of digital connectivity, in particular to the new frontier, issues of financial inclusion, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, there are critical things that we as the people of Northern Kenya, and in particular the pastoral communities, when His Excellency was making the speech, a number of us were greatly concerned, and I must say this. But having gone through the report, word for word, Madam Speaker, I have seen the issue of the high groundfall dam along the Dawa River, and that will cover Mandera, along the Ethiopian-Kenya border, Madam Speaker. I've also seen a big mega dam called the Isiolo, Barsalinga. Madam Speaker, we really want to the issue of Isiolo, Barsalinga Dam, Madam Speaker, in Isiolo, the issue of Sicily Canal in Garissa, the issue of Lowat Dam, Madam Speaker, in Turkana. Madam Speaker, we also wanted to hear the issue of the Isiolo, Modogash, Habaswein, Samatar, Wajir, Tarbaj, Kutulo, Elwa, Wergadut, Ramo, Mandera, Madam Speaker, because this is in our heart. The fact that these were not mentioned, we were so discouraged. Madam Speaker, but that doesn't take away our rights as a group. Madam Speaker, I've also seen the issue of dueling of many roads, over 28,000 kilometers. We expected also those roads to be dual, Madam Speaker, to have included the road from Thika, Mwingi, Garissa, all the way, even the one that's about to be tarmac, Madam Speaker. We also expected the same to include the road from Lamu, Ijara, Garissa, Isiolo, all the way to Ethiopia, Madam Speaker, because these roads are sentimental, Madam Speaker. But I also do know this report is not final. It can be improved further on, Madam Speaker. We also expected the issue of expansion of the national grid from Garissa. Madam Speaker, sadly, as I speak today, Wajir town is in the darkness, Madam Speaker. We have struggled. We expected also a Marshall Plan, a complete nationally choreographed energy program for the people of Northern Kenya. Madam Speaker, I want to really appeal to the President. This President has done so well. For those of us who have been around, we need to credit him. Dreams are valid, but there are issues that also need to be particularly tailor-made for certain communities that have been left behind. Madam Speaker, I know as a seasoned lawyer, as a lecturer, you know this thing called Sessional Paper number 10 of 1965. That paper excluded the people of Northern Kenya from the affairs, the management of the Republic of Kenya, Madam Speaker. Whenever we miss our names, we see has somebody, a technocrat, the Mandarins excluded this. Madam Speaker, countries that have moved, countries that have leaped forward, have had a senior leader who has understood the aspirations, the thinking, the expectations of his people, Madam Speaker, to have moved to another level. Madam Speaker, we as Kenyans, we must appreciate what the President has done. We must also positively criticize what is to be done. Madam Speaker, I want to join the leader of majority. For those who are in the streets condemning the President, every morning, every lunchtime, every evening, allow the President to do his work. When the time comes for election in 2027, you will have an opportunity to interrogate what he has done and come up with your alternative platform, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, 2 more minutes or 3 more minutes. As the father, I'm sure.
Just 1 minute, but I won't be giving any more extra time because it's not fair on the other members.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for your kindness. Madam Speaker, the reality is we have a country. We must start from somewhere. This President has started from somewhere. I want to appeal to the naysayers. Criticize the President and his government positively. Bring alternative solutions. The alternative solutions is what will take our country forward. Madam Speaker, I want to also join my colleagues in welcoming our brother, the Honorable Kirwa. I know as human beings, challenges come. Welcome back to the people of Mosop. Welcome back to the 13th Parliament. And we pray to the Almighty God that you will have recovered and you will get an opportunity. And I also want to appeal to the people of Mosop, give this great young man an opportunity to further serve the people. Madam Speaker, in conclusion, what I want to say is this. There comes a time when the national interest must supersede every other petty partisan interest. I want to appeal to the people of Northern Kenya, wherever you are. This president has invested in every available opportunity to our development. He has attempted to remove marginalization. He has attempted to bring equity. He has attempted to deal with the issue of access, educational access. Issues remaining, let's discuss them in the boardroom. Issues remaining, let's fix an appointment with the president. And I said on record the other day that we as the people of Wajir, we are seeking an urgent appointment to find a solution to the power crisis in Wajir. Madam Speaker, this morning, allow me one more second. This morning, we have had a meeting with the World Bank, the Minister of Transport, and the entire players for the Horn of Africa. Madam Speaker, sadly, and I want to say this on record, that project is being sabotaged by technocrats. Technocrats who are hell-bent. Technocrats who are determined to create political discord between the president and the people of Northern Kenya. I want to appeal to the president, deal with those cartels who are out to frustrate that critical infrastructure road that will open up Northern Kenya. As it is right now, it's not going on well. And I'm duty bound to say this. I support the report.
Thank you. Honorable Haika Mzigi, member for Taita Taveta.
Asante sana, Bispika, na mimi kunipatia hii fursa niungane na wenzangu kuweza kujadili hotuba hii ya Mheshimiwa Rais ambaye ni moja ya hotuba bora zaidi ambazo mimi nimewahi sikia, na ilikuwa hotuba ambayo ilikuwa ni ya kuleta imani na matumaini kwa Wakenya, kwa sababu Mheshimiwa Rais alitangulia kwa kutueleza ya kwamba wakati wa awali alivyotembelea hapa bungeni alikuja kutuambia mambo ya ndoto ama maono, lakini inatia moyo sana na inafurahisha ya kwamba msimu huu ama wakati huu alivyotembelea bunge hili la kitaifa, Mheshimiwa Rais hakuja tena kwa mambo ya ndoto ama maono, bali alikuja kwa mambo ya vitendo na mambo ambayo ni ya kuonekana kabisa katika nchi yetu. Kuna mengi ambayo aliweza kuyataja ambayo yalikuwa ni ndoto, lakini kwa sasa yamekuwa ni matendo, ni maendeleo yanaonekana. Na Bispika, mimi leo nataka kuchukua fursa niangazie ile kaunti yangu ya Taita Taveta kwa mambo ambayo kabisa mimi nimeyaona yakifanyika na mambo ambayo pia vile vile yanafanyika katika nchi nzima. Kuna mambo ambayo Mheshimiwa Rais alizungumzia, mipango ya mambo ya barabara. Na nikiangazia kule Taita Taveta, zipo barabara ambazo zilikuwa ni ndoto. Ni barabara ambazo zimezungumziwa kwa miaka mingi. Ni barabara watu waliziota mpaka wakaona kwamba hazitawahi fanyika ama hazitawahi kuwa. Lakini kwa sasa barabara zile zinaendelea kufanyika, barabara zile zinafanywa kazi. Bispika, barabara ya kutoka Taveta, Chala, Njukini, Rombo mpaka Elasit ni barabara ambayo ilikuwa imekuwa ndoto, lakini barabara ile sasa hivi inatengenezwa. Punde tu barabara ile itakuwa imeisha, barabara ya lami, watu wa Kenya wataweza kuitumia, watu wa Taita Taveta, watu wa Kajiado na watu wote, itafungua uchumi upande ule. Ipo barabara ambayo ilikwama kule Taita Taveta. Kule Taita Taveta tunapenda kuita sana the ring road. Barabara ya kutoka Bura kuzunguka all the way mpaka kurudi Mto Magodi. Ile pia ilikuwa ni ndoto. Barabara ile ilikuwa imekwama, Bispika. Lakini sasa hivi tunavyoongea contractor yuko kwa site, anafanya kazi. Kusema kweli, Rais alikuja hapa na vile alisema alikuwa amekuja kuzungumzia ndoto, lakini sasa hii ni mambo hali halisi yaliyopo na watu wanayaona. Masoko ya kisasa ambayo tuliyazungumzia tu na watu wakasema hayatakuwa, lakini hayawi yapo sasa hivi. Nikiangazia Taita Taveta tena, kule Voi, tukienda kule Maungu, lipo soko la kisasa limejengwa pale. Soko ambalo linamfanya mama mboga akae mahali pazuri, mahali pa heshima, mahali pa kuweza kufanya kazi. Lipo soko mahali panaitwa Mwatunge. Lipo soko ambalo mahali naitwa Taveta. Yapo masoko Kenya nzima ambayo Mheshimiwa Rais anajenga. Mradi wa manyumba watu walisema itakuwaje, haitakuwa. Manyumba sasa watu wanayaona kwa macho, wengine wameshapata fursa hata ya kukaa kwa majumba yale. Kwa hivyo Mheshimiwa Rais tunataka kumpongeza kwa ile hotuba yake, kwa sababu alikuja kutuzungumzia mambo ambayo yanafanyika katika nchi yetu. Masuala ya elimu, hatujawahi kuona walimu wameandikwa kazi wengi kama hii serikali ya Mheshimiwa Rais William Samoei Ruto. Walimu 76,000 kwa wakati mmoja, ulisikia wapi? Lakini hapa Kenya imefanyika na inaendelea kufanyika. Vile vile tukizungumzia masuala ya afya, SHA, watu walikuwa wanasema SHA haitaweza. Sasa hivi kila watu wanasema SHA inafanya, na SHA inafanya kweli. Na vile vile wale CHPs ambao walikuwa wanateseka kwa muda mrefu, wanajitolea bure kufanyia watu kazi, wakaboreshwa, wakapewa vyombo vya kazi, wakapewa vyombo vya kusaidia wananchi, na vile vile wakapewa token of appreciation, wakapewa zawadi kidogo, fedha kidogo.
Member for Funyula, Honorable Oundo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. As we debate the presidential speech, as provided for Article 132(1), also let me join my colleagues in welcoming back Mheshimiwa Kirwa, and we pray Almighty God can give you strength and recover fully as soon as is possible. Honorable Speaker, the Constitution of Kenya and Article 132(1) requires that the President, among other things, once every year, report an address to the nation on the measures taken and the progress achieved in the relation of the national values referred to in Article 10. Published in Kenya Gazette, the details of the measures and progress under subgraph 1, and submit a report for debate to the National Assembly on the progress made in fulfilling international obligations of the Republic of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, I have read the President's speech, and since time is limited, allow me to pick 2 items that came out very clear, and as a honest country, we need to be very honest with each other and tell each other the brutal truth. And truth, but nothing else will set us free. Honorable Speaker, in paragraph 6, the President's very clear. He says he has come, first time he came with a vision. Now he has come to tell a story. I don't know which story that story is being told, whether it's provided for in the Constitution, but that's besides the point. But in paragraph 6, Honorable Speaker, he clearly says, evidence of promises made and promises kept. And that's where the crunch of the matter starts. When the President was looking for votes, when the President came to address this house the first time, he sold to us the manifesto, the plan of Kenya Kwanza UDA. And it's a document that's easily accessible, and it's a document that has been translated in quite a number, transmitted into a number of government policies that we are pursuing now, popularly called as better. Honorable Speaker, one of the promises the President made to this country was to address retrogressive taxation and regulatory compliance. Whether that has been achieved, the jury is outside there. But for the record of Kenyans, this is now the taxation, the number of taxes that Kenyans are subjected to pay every single day, every single year. Payee now ranges between 10 to 35%, depending on the salary band. Now there is SHIF, 2.7%, there's affordable housing levy, 1.5%, corporate taxes are 30%, VAT are 16%, capital gains tax are 15%, rental income tax are 7.5%, NSSF is at 6%. Honorable Speaker, I do not know whether we have achieved addressing retrogressive taxation. Secondly, on the issue of regulatory compliance, the country, the newspapers, is inundated with members of this country who have hanged themselves, who have committed suicide because of the retrogressive compliance regime perpetuated by this regime. Honorable Speaker, the second promise was to improve reliability and bring down the cost of electricity. Honorable Speaker, records available indicates that electricity cost in Kenya is USD 0.221 compared to African average. Africa, I'm not talking about any other countries, 0.134. That means Kenya's electricity rates is much, much higher, even the average African country, the poorest continent that we have here. Honorable Speaker, we were promised capacity to improve their secondary schools, to guarantee access to quality education and reduce the cost of education. As we stand here today, Honorable Speaker, capitation has reduced from 22 to 16,000, yet now making education more expensive than it was. Honorable Speaker, then in paragraph 25, time may not allow, the President states the inflation stood at 9.6 in 2022, is now at 4.6 in this month, bringing much needed relief to households. The households are not relieved, Honorable Speaker. The cost of living is much higher. When you look at the CPE, that's Consumer Price Index, for this particular year, is much, much higher at 146.84 points compared to 111.886 points in the year 2022. Honorable Speaker, we might try to massage or cover or oil the dead horse, but the horse is dead.
The Honorable Member for Keyo North.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity. And before I give my comment on presidential address, I want also to join my colleagues in welcoming Honorable Kirwa back to the House of Parliament. Honorable Kirwa, we have really missed you. And also, I would want to request the constituents of Mosop to give Honorable Kirwa another chance, because this is one person that, despite the fact that he had health challenges, he kept on focusing on his constituents. Back to the presidential debate, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I must say that William Samoei Ruto is the only president, if not the second president, who has been harshly charged. Madam Speaker, most people are only reading one side of the story. They only concentrate so much on the negativity. But Honorable Speaker, this is the only president, or this is the president who assumed office in a very difficult situation. When the president came into power, the cost of living was so high because the previous regimes had concentrated so much on consumption. But when he came in with a policy of subsidizing fertilizer, we are seeing that most Kenyans at the moment are enjoying life because the cost of food has come down drastically. Madam Speaker, I come from a region where we are producing maize. And when you compare this year and previous years, there is huge production of maize courtesy of subsidized fertilizer. Madam Speaker, Kenya today is a happy country because our students in school are equipped by human capital through employment of teachers. At the moment, the president has employed more than 76,000 teachers. And even we saw the advert this morning whereby Teacher Service Commission is going to employ more teachers. Madam Speaker, we have all read about the inflation from 9% to a level now that we are around 3.9% inflation rate. This is a government which is deliberate in ensuring that Kenyans get value for their money. Also on the part of housing, Madam Speaker, as promised by the president, it is no longer an history. When you go to all parts of the country, including my own constituency, which is Iten town, we are seeing houses coming up. And this is something that had been mentioned by previous governments long ago. But at the moment, houses that are being built in Kibra and the entire country is something that most Kenyans are witnessing. Madam Speaker, the president shared his plan on constructing dams. Apart from the existing ones that we have witnessed across the country, small and medium dams, the president elaborated to the nation on his plan of constructing major dams to enhance food production and also electrification. I am saying this because there's a difference between just talking for political expediency and giving practicality. We are having dams constructed across the country. Madam Speaker, I cannot even mention much about roadworks because there were serious problems when it comes to pending bills. But this government has managed to pay contractors, and at the moment we are seeing contractors across the country resuming to work. I would also want to urge even our colleagues, if you see that maybe those other sides of the country is far, visit Serena here. You will see that there's serious roadworks that is being done because he has managed to kickstart what had already stalled some time back. Madam Speaker, we have so many programs that the president promised before, and we are seeing that things are going on well. Security of the country, the issue of youth empowerment through Nyota programs, the issue of construction of sports facilities. For the first time, we are seeing one of the mega sports facility called Talanta here. Dr. Undo, if you get time, go there. There are things that are happening in our country that we have not witnessed before. I even saw some other people the other day criticizing this government that we are not doing anything on security. One of them purports to be a presidential candidate, someone who oversaw bodies being dumped in Yala River. But this is the only government that has assured security of its citizens and uphold the Constitution and obey the rule of law and everything. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Member for Busia.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. First of all, I want to welcome back Honorable Kirwa. The devil is always a liar. Keep fighting the good fight, because you still have a lot ahead of you. And God bless you. Back to the President's speech. There is this adage that prevails, that out of the hatred of the cockroaches, the ants voted for the insecticide. They all died. I want us to have a vision in the President's vision as leaders. There are things, if we did today, it is not us who are going to benefit. It is the fourth generation from now that we are building for. Today, if I built a house or an apartment, it's not mine. It is something for my future generation. And we have to somehow start today. The President has started something. It might look like a very big shoe to wear for all Kenyans, but he is a very good dealer in hope. Today, if you came to a place in Busia County called Lunyofu, no one could have even known that it existed. But the President, through his vision, has put it on the map. If you Google, you will know that Sports Academy, a standardized one, a good quality stadium, is coming up in that area. There is another area also called Igara. Who could have known Igara in Kenya? Leave alone Kenya, even the whole world. If you Googled it, you'll not even find it. But because he has seen that it is good to go where there is nothing and start something, he has started these big things that are shocking so many people. I am a witness. Groundbreaking was happening while I was there. Such a place where nobody even could have allowed her daughter to get married to. Soon it will be a town. Social amenities will be brought there. It will be attractive. And then with the time, instead of people coming to Nairobi or Kisumu or Mombasa looking for jobs, we will be decongesting the city, because there are cities that are built in towns that never could have become anything if we didn't do such things that the President has started. He is actually translating this vision into reality by starting many things in different counties. If we only shared that vision as leaders as well, and not poison our people from hating anything that he begins. So I just want to applaud the many things he has begun. There are others that are still coming up gradually, progressively, but there are those that actually have already taken off, and there is no looking back. It is time for Kenya to be a grandfather. We are not in an elementary level of growth like other struggling or teething African countries. So if we are going to be the giants, even in this East Africa and Central and East, whatever region in Africa, we must walk the talk. And a good leader knows what they want for their people. They go ahead and they show the way. And that is what the president is doing. So let us stop a little, pause a little, look, and just imagine what a beautiful baby he's trying to create out of Kenya. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Didi Nyoro, member for Kiharu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for this chance. And I want also to welcome my brother, Honorable Abraham Kirwa, back to Parliament. We are glad to see you. Na karibu sana. Honorable Speaker, I'll be direct to the point. One is that when we have such a situation where we are listening to the State of the Nation address, Honorable Speaker, data should speak more than words. Honorable Speaker, I say so because when you want to invest in a company, for example, you want to invest in a bank, you look at their financial statements, knowing that the Nairobi Securities Exchange and regulators like CMA and the Central Bank of Kenya have done their bit. And therefore you do it knowing that the data you are reading is believable. Honorable Speaker, I say so because some of the data I saw presented last week, I don't know exactly whether it is the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics that is wrong, or it is the speech, and especially the people who made the speech who didn't have the correct data, Honorable Speaker. The first thing I want to cite is the exchange rate. We have been talking here in Parliament and especially giving a narration that we have made the exchange rate to climb down. Honorable Speaker, in the day of elections in Kenya, the exchange rate to the USD was 118 shillings. The exchange rate during the swearing day, Honorable Speaker, was 120 shillings. The exchange rate reached 159 actually in 2023 when we were still around, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, the exchange rate has actually depreciated by 8.5% from August of 2022, Honorable Speaker. And it is in an era where the USD itself globally has depreciated by 10%. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, there, I don't know which data is actually correct. The other issue, Honorable Speaker, is the performance of the Nairobi Securities Exchange. The truth of the matter, and Honorable Speaker, it is usually said that when you have a lion, you just need to unleash it. You don't need to defend it. It defends itself. And that is how facts are, Honorable Speaker. You release them, they defend themselves. The Nairobi Securities Exchange, just like all the other stock exchanges in the world, they are not measured by market capitalization. They are measured by indices. And there are two indices in the NSE, Honorable Speaker. One is called the Nairobi Security or Share Index. The other one is called the 20 Share Index. Honorable Speaker, the highest you have seen, and I say so because in the speech, I saw that the Nairobi Securities Exchange is in its all-time high. Honorable Speaker, that is incorrect. The Nairobi Securities Exchange, even citing the last 5 years, Honorable Speaker, only, or even the last 10 years, its all-time high in the recent past was actually 2017. But the very much all-time high, Honorable Speaker, was actually around 2007. The Nairobi, the NASI, which is the OSHA Index, Honorable Speaker, the all-time high of NASI was actually in 2017, not as it was being given in the speech. And the Honorable Speaker, even the data on construction. If you read the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, the construction sector in Kenya in the 2024 year, Honorable Speaker, it actually contracted by 2%. The consumption of cement was down by 7.9%. Consumption of steel was down at a level where we are doing housing projects. Honorable Speaker, I say so because for us to move forward, we have to be very deliberate and factual on where we are. And that is why after all is said and done, data always speaks for itself. Because if you compare, Honorable Speaker, Kenya, compare the last 3 regimes for the first 3 years, the regime of President Mwai Kibaki the regime of President Uhuru Kenyatta and the current. The first 3 years, President Uhuru Kenyatta took the GDP of Kenya when it was $19 billion. In the first 3 years, it was $26 billion. It was up by over, I think, let me actually quote correctly, Honorable Speaker, it was up 36%. The first 3 years of President Uhuru Kenyatta, it was 21% growth in the GDP. The current situation, Honorable Speaker, the first 3 years, the economy has only grew by around 14%. If you grade using NEC, you times by 2, Kibaki gets 72%, President Uhuru Kenyatta gets 42%, President Kibaki gets 72%, Uhuru Kenyatta 42%, the current one is at 29%. You can use NEC to grade, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the other issue I want to cite is even the regional dominance of Kenya. In the year 2024, Honorable Speaker, Kenya was actually last in terms of growth in the region. Uganda grew by 6%.
Yes, you can. Yes, proceed.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for addition of that 2 minutes. Honorable Speaker, I was saying, in the year 2024, Uganda grew by 6%, Tanzania by 6.1%, Honorable Speaker. Rwanda grew by over 8%, Kenya grew by 4.7%. Honorable Speaker, also as I said, facts are like lion, you release them, you don't defend them, they defend themselves. Honorable Speaker, as I come to the conclusion, I thought the President would actually talk about, or the speech would include the issue of debt. Kenya is currently borrowing 3.5 billion shillings every day, unprecedented. And besides that, we are borrowing also illegally, in the name of securitization, in the name of Talanta Board, and the rest. I thought that is a monumental issue that would have been highlighted. But lastly, Honorable Speaker, also, Honorable Speaker, I thought the speech would include the issue of education. The speech was read in a situation where, Honorable Speaker, our principals have received a circular to increase school fees for day scholars, Honorable Speaker, starting January. And I want to rally the members of this House. We must not sit here when the fees for day secondary school is being increased by government from next year. Honorable Speaker, very lastly, I didn't hear the issue of confirmation of the JSS interns, who are 20,000 in number. Honorable Speaker, these JSS interns, our brothers and sisters, must be confirmed into permanent and pensionable terms immediately without delay. I submit, Honorable Speaker.
What's your point of order, Honorable Mohammed?
Madam Speaker, though he has already finished, the honorable member was on the floor. As a concerned Kenyan, he has just indicated that Kenya is borrowing some billions every single day. I would like him to tell me today, how did we borrow? Which bank, which institution borrowed us? Because when you are speaking here, we need to tell wananchi the truth, not just lying. You know, that's a story that can burn a country. When you hear your country is borrowing every day, I beseech you to ask him to give me evidence as a Kenyan. How much have we borrowed today? From which institution? Who signed? Where is the money? Please make this clear to us as wananchi wants to know on their behalf as a Migori member of parliament.
Yes, you've made your point. Honorable Dindo, I'll give you 1 minute.
Honorable Speaker, I don't know how to respond because it's hard to respond to such kind of an issue. Honorable Speaker, just advise the member that the data of Kenya is literally available even now in the Central Bank of Kenya. And it is difficult for me to do your job. Currently, as it is, Honorable Speaker, when this government came in, that is how it is, Honorable Member, the debt of Kenya was 8.7 trillion Kenya shillings. As we talk today, the debt of Kenya is over 12.5 trillion Kenya shillings. And therefore, we have borrowed over 3.5 trillion Kenya shillings in a span of less than 3 years. And therefore, if you divide that by the number of days, I have actually given a discount. We are borrowing more than 3.5 billion every single day, and that is unpalatable.
You have clarified. Thank you. Honorable Didi Rose, I think Honorable Fatuma, everyone is entitled to their opinion. No, everybody is entitled to give their opinion. Honorable Raso, proceed. You're next. You can speak, and you have 10 minutes because you're speaking on behalf of the chairperson of the Committee of Defense and Foreign Relations.
Committee of Administration and Internal Security. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
I'm told actually it's the Chair of Administration and the Internal Security. Proceed.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to welcome Honorable Kirwa back to the House, and we thank God for restoring his health, and we hope you will be back on your feet. Madam Speaker, let me thank the President for this very important address he made to the nation from the floor of this House. It is important for us to say the truth as it is. You know, Madam Speaker, leaders rise and they make their countries rise at the right time. We had Kennedy in America who said, by the end of the decade, a man must be on the moon. Then we had Mao Zedong, who removed his country, China, from a peasant economy to a thriving economy. We had Lee Kuan from Singapore, a man who raised his country from a very rudimentary country in terms of the economy to today a first world country. Madam Speaker, Clinton, when he became the president in 1990s, he said the economy is stupid, and he transformed the American economy. So when we try to compare ourselves, borrowing from what Honorable Nyoro said, of comparing ourselves to the growth of the Ugandan economy or the other East African economy, our economies are much bigger, and the growth has to be relative to what is the size. And that is why our economy cannot grow at 7, 8, 9, 10%, if really it can grow at 5% and it still meets its strategic objective. Madam Speaker, let me talk about a few things the President talked about. The first one is about national security. Today, as Kenyans, we must appreciate this government that today that the guns are silent in the arid and semi-arid lands. Of the 6 counties of North Rift, you will find that there is no fighting. In Turkana, in West Pokot, in Baringo, in Marakwet, in Samburu, in Isiolo, in Marsabit. This shows the security investment by this government by improving the governance architecture of having DCCs, ACCs, by having more police stations, having more boots on the ground. Madam Speaker, this government is on record that today we are recruiting 10,000 policemen. That has not happened before in the previous administration. It is good to say when it works and when it is positive. We cannot always be prophets of doom. Madam Speaker, on agriculture and food security, at the beginning of his leadership, the President said, we are not going to subsidize consumption, we are going to subsidize production. Today, when you go to supermarket and you find that food is relatively more affordable than at the beginning in 2022, then it means the agriculture sector is working. Furthermore, when the President says that he's going to build dams in arid and semi-arid land, in Wajir, in Mandera, in Marsabit, in Garissa, in Tana River, because 80% of Kenya is arid and semi-arid land. These are the places where we are likely to have more land and expand land for agriculture. Madam Speaker, on the issue of infrastructure, you know, the reason why infrastructure is more important is for predictability in terms of traveling. Today, if I leave Marsabit at 8 in the morning, I know by 4 I'll be in Nairobi. That is how infrastructure is so important. Today we talk about the airport in Ethiopia, Addis Ababa. Then here we are saying we don't want to expand our airport at Jomo Kenyatta just because of busybodies saying the government is going to lose jobs and many other things. But what we are saying with this president, that he must be courageous enough to take the bull by the horns. By expanding Jomo Kenyatta Airport, we are the hub of this region. How comes that we are losing business to other countries in the region, much smaller than us? Madam Speaker, what is so important in infrastructure is to have national infrastructure bond. As opposed to expanding the tax bracket, more taxation to Kenyans, if we have a fund that is going to be self-regenerating, then it means we'll be able to construct as many roads as we can without resorting to Kenyans dipping more into their pockets. Madam Speaker, what this country needs is a change in the strategic culture. We must begin to have confidence in our leadership. If they are bold, if they give direction, if our leaders are able to make deliberate choices that is of benefit to the country, then we must support those leaders. Madam Speaker, the issue of investment in the human capital. We have the TVET, the Nyota program, and many other programs that is supposed to help the youth to be on their feet and eventually to be able to walk. For these programs to be successful, then it means Kenya must generate enough resources for this particular task. Madam Speaker, the other important issue which I must talk about is the issue of energy. You know, energy is the anchor for industrialization, is the anchor for development. Honorable Kainan there talked about the issue of Wajir, but Wajir is not the only towns in northern Kenya that are dependent fully on generators. If we must develop the north, then we must begin to focus on energy. And what the president should actually do is even to look at the possibility of nuclear power so that Kenya must industrialize without necessarily depending on its neighbors who are also able to sell power from their hydroelectric dams to us. Madam Speaker, I want to finish, and I want to say again about national security. If we walk around this country today, and what we experienced a few years ago, Kenya is relatively more safe. And this is the investment that this government has done on the security infrastructure and also the architecture. In terms of employing people like the Kenya Police Reserve, complementary forces that augment the forces that are there, because we do not have enough police officers or enough police stations to cover those gaps. As people from the ASAL or the pastoralists, we want to encourage more of the locals to be employed in KPR. There are also issues like mobility, force protection for our National Police Service and our security forces to be able to engage in difficult situations without being in harm's way. With those many remarks, Madam Speaker, I beg to support this report. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Ngusia.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving this opportunity to add my voice to this.
And remember, you have 5 minutes.
Yes, and it is coming at a time when the President just visited our county and our region, the Lower Eastern. And before onset, I would like to take this opportunity to thank him more especially for visiting my constituency and becoming the first ever president actually to visit for presidential visit on matters of development. Congratulations, William Ruto, for what you did to people of Mwingi West. A start project that was actually promised by the first President of the Republic of Kenya, 1976. Now it has become a reality. And Mwingi West people will never forget that. Madam Speaker, the President started by reminding us how far we have come since 62 years ago when we achieved the independence. And he reminded us we really struggled and sacrificed a lot. And right now, we are witnessing tremendous development in our country, relatively compared to our region. And it was very categorical that it can be done. The tigers of Asia, the South Korea, Singapore, Hong Kong, and Malaysia, the way they have come from far. While we can actually look at the national debt, when I remember the deputy president, when he was all overseeing it, he found an empty coffers. But president went ahead and rectified everything, and congratulations to him, because we never devoted debt before. And the issue of inflation, I remember it was the chorus, and he found us in a very horrible situation when the prices of the commodities had already risen, and congratulations for that resilience. We have seen it, Madam Speaker. I would like to echo the sentiments Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah, who really traversed with us through Kabani region. And I can tell you for free, there are 4 key projects that the community has been crying for since independence. It is a reality. These roads we are talking about, it's happening now. And coming from this region, I can confirm without fear, the President has delivered in terms of road infrastructure. Recall when he counted the number of roads he is going to drill in this country, adding the kilometers to 28,000. And this one will take us to almost the first world. So we need really to be positive as matters of development are concerned, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the issue of GDP, Kenya was ranked 8th. Now we are 6th in Africa. That is a big plus. We have improved from position 8th to position 6th. And that is something that should be recognized. And we need to keep on moving up and consider now comparing ourselves with the tigers of Asia, instead of comparing ourselves with the African brothers and sisters, Madam Speaker. The issue of foreign direct investment, we noted it rose from 60 billion to 195 billion, Madam Speaker, and that is a positive territory because attracting foreign direct investments is going to create employment to our youth, and it has a positive impact on it. The foreign reserves have surpassed $12 billion in our country. And since independence, it has never reached that level. So that is a positive plus, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I note the issue of agriculture. The productivity has increased because of the subsidized fertilizer the President stretched. And this way is going to cure the issues of food insecurity. But I would like to emphasize on the issue of water. We need to move from relying from rain-fed agriculture to at least construct several dams, the ones he mentioned. If it can be actualized and regionally distributed, we are going to cure this issue of food insecurity in our country, Madam Speaker. The issue, of course, which, Madam Speaker, I want to stretch is the housing. We have seen markets coming up, and all the constituencies are experiencing construction of ESP markets, and we are giving our traders places where they can trade with dignity. And this is laudable, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, with those few remarks, I would like to say thank you so much, and let us be positive. Things are happening in our country. Let us be positive and fix where we can. This is our country. This is our country, and we are the only ones who are going to build.
The Honourable Member for Kesses, CPA Ruto.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity given me to weigh my comments on the speech that was made by the President on the State of the Nation address. But first, in his absentia, I want to commend Honorable Kirwa for the faith and the strength that he has taken through his health treatment and recovery process, and that today he has appeared here. I would have also wished to make a comment to his dear wife, Frashan, for the good work she did to ensure that she gave the right support to the husband. Madam Speaker, also allow me quickly to pay a tribute and message of condolence to the family of Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, that as we say in our culture, that thunder doesn't strike twice. However, to the family, today we received the sad news of the death of the sister to the late Right Honorable Raila Odinga Perry Laching, and it is so unfortunate, and I want to take this moment on my own behalf and the behalf of Kesses to pay tribute. Madam Speaker, I want quickly to make a few observations on the speech made by the President. Number one, Mr. Speaker, if you listen keenly on how the President stood in the body of Mia and spoke to Kenyans through this National Assembly, it is a message of hope. It is a message of surety. It is a message of guiding Kenyans from where they were, the difficulties Kenya has gone through, to a better promise land, like the way God promised the children of Israel, that they will go to the land of Canaan, land full of milk and honey. However, it was a long journey, full of difficulties and challenges and hunger. This is where the country Kenya has been for all decades since we attained independence. We've had a lot of focus from the first president, where he spoke about fighting diseases, anger, and poverty, and of course, access to education. Second president came in the same way. Third president, the late Mwai Kibaki, spoke on the economic transformation, and he initiated the discussion about transforming our economic agenda and development of the nation. That is where the beginning of growth of debt in this republic, in equivalent level of the infrastructure growth that we saw. President Uhuru Kenyatta came in on the 4 pillars, the agendas on affordable housing, on the issue of food security, on the issue of universal health coverage, on the issue of housing. All those, he spoke about them, but we never saw the results. Today, as we speak, the current 5th president of the Republic of Kenya is not only speaking about these agendas, but he can demonstrate through his speech that things that are physical, you can appreciate that are happening in the nation. Every part of the country, you will see visible the issues that I spoke about, issues to do with housing, issues to do with markets that is linking production to the market and increasing the value chain, creating business, creating opportunity for earnings. You can speak about sports. You can speak about now infrastructure, which is the critical element of development and growth in our economy. Because where we are going as a nation is to grow from production now to manufacturing. Madam Speaker, listening to my senior colleagues who have spoken here, casting aspersion and sending negativity on the statement of the president on the ground of the difficulty of our economic situation. Madam Speaker, I would have wished I had an opportunity when my senior was making statement here, Honorable Ndindi Nyoro, and he has categorically elaborated and reflected or compare the situation in our Kenyan market with the other first world countries, which I appreciate. We may not have gone that direction at the moment, but we are going there. However, I would have wished him to clarify that the 3 preceding budgets that he saw here as the chairman, budget and appropriation, and as we know very well, that the budgets of the country are prepared very well on or basing or on the background of the economic condition of the nation. I would have wished to know that those budgets that were prepared basing on those situations, and right now that is able to reflect on his understanding the challenges on those markets. Madam Speaker, or Mr. Speaker, kumbe there is a change of the Speaker. I would have wished now for him to compare and speak to Kenyans that those budgets were prepared on a stable economic situation, on a stable market, or prepared on a changing or without hope, so that Kenyans are able to put trust on the reports that are being prosecuted and presented to this House, that the budgets that were made are truthful and the budgets that were able to be measured to be achieved, so that Kenyans are able to appreciate works that are being done in this House. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, and I want to say that we want to support the President and ensure that the President moves forward with stopping rejectionist and being full of negativity. This country, Kenya, has to move forward, but we must pay a price of sacrifice so that we move forward. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order, but he has already concluded. He mentioned something about my... No, you can only do it when he's still on his feet, yeah. Sorry. Gikaria, Honorable Gikaria. Honorable Gikaria.
I'm here, Honorable Speaker.
Proceed.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to give my comments on the State of the Nation address that was given by His Excellency the President. Honorable Speaker, I want to start by saying that the address that was given by the President was factual. Honorable Speaker, in the very first paragraph, he says, 2 years ago, Honorable Speaker, when I delivered my first State of the Nation address, I had a vision to sell. And he said, today, I have a vision to tell. Honorable Speaker, how true this statement could be is elaborated, Honorable Speaker, by the so many paragraphs that in his speech that has reflected what he has to sell by saying factual, figurative, and even naming institutions, Honorable Speaker, that have spoken and have given figures. Honorable Speaker, the best thing about the President is that he does not only speak out of a blue, but he speaks from factual figures that he has gotten from different institutions, the Kenya Bureau of Statistics, and naming other institutions, not only even including international institutions, Honorable Speaker, that rates or give standing or gives. Honorable Speaker, we have been requested here by an honorable member to rate the current president vis-a-vis other presidents who have who had come before him. Honorable Speaker, we keep on reminding people that him at 27%, at 29% purported, as you are being told, Honorable Speaker, and with only 3 years of being in office, actually 2 years in office, then the actual rating could have come if he has finished the 10 years like the other two predecessors who have been indicated, Honorable Speaker. So again, it is not fair for you to compare somebody who has been in office for 2 years with somebody who has been in office for 10 years, and then you want us to believe that what you're saying is the factual truth. Honorable Speaker, that is not a proper comparative figures that you can be able to. But that said and done, Honorable Speaker, what Majority Leader had indicated earlier, Honorable Speaker, the falsehood and misinformation that is out there is something that is actually creeping into the Kenyans' mind by them believing falsehood that has been given, Honorable Speaker. And it is very unfortunate. Honorable Speaker, just over the weekend, when I was disbursing some bursaries forms for us to be able to be ready for the payment of bursaries for coming year, one of the people, when I asked whether SHA is working, several women raised their hand and said it's not working. When I challenged them that after that cassation that we've had, I will pick them to go to the hospitals that they had attended, and SHA was not working. But to my disbelief, Honorable Speaker, all the 4 women were nowhere to be seen because they were lying. And that is what is happening in this country. Honorable Speaker, it's very unfortunate. I would want to say that the President did give, and if you look at the 10-point agenda, I mean, there's so many issues that he has indicated, Honorable Speaker. It is true that the farm input, the harvest has increased, Honorable Speaker. The housing units, Honorable Speaker. Also, we are seeing so many in my constituency. For example, Honorable Speaker, we are having over 3,000 affordable housing that is ongoing. Honorable, that is the truth that is about the jobs that he promised these young Kenyans, Honorable Speaker. It is, and the SHA increase of registration, Honorable. All these are factual information, and the President has indicated by figures and the institutions that are rating. And Honorable Speaker, we just need to be focused as a country.
Honorable Sarah Korere.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I also want to add my voice to the presidential State of the Nation address. And Honorable Speaker, among the many things that we really expected to hear from this speech was the development of infrastructure in the ASAL counties. And Speaker, as a figure father, the President can only sell hope and faith to Kenyans. And Honorable Speaker, promises have been given not just now, since the beginning of the world. You know, God promised Abraham and Sarah that they will be the mothers of nations, that he will give them a lot of children, but they got one child, and the promise was fulfilled. Speaker, God promised the children of Israel that he will deliver them to a land called Canaan, and it took them 40 years to reach Canaan, and the promise was fulfilled. When promises are given, the next phase of promises is to wait for the promise. And Speaker, when the President spoke about subsidies, it is true. Before 2022, subsidies were given to fuel, you know, to unga, not production, but consumables. And Speaker, these subsidies were enriching the ones who are already rich to the detriment of the poor Kenyans. But when the President subsidized fertilizer, the price of unga, which is a common meal to almost every table in this country, has reasonably gone down from the 250 in 2022 to 130, 120, depending on where you come from. But Mr. Speaker, those of us who are in Jubilee, the Jubilee Coalition and the Jubilee Party last Parliament, we know the manifesto of Jubilee Party. One, it was the issue of affordable housing, which we never did. Number two, it was the issue of universal health coverage, which we never did. Because every time you want to do something, you fear the repercussions. But for this President, he dared take the bulls by the horns. But having said that, Mr. Speaker, I was a little taken aback by this speech, because I expected the President to mention, at least among the roads he mentioned, the Doldol-Nanyuki Road, which has become an elephant in the room. If you come to Laikipia County, Mr. Speaker, All tarmac starts and ends where Laikipia North begins. And Mr. Speaker, we are very hopeful that for the time of this president, the Doldol Nanyuki tarmac will happen. And Mr. Speaker, when we talk of the price of unga, it is true the price of unga has come down. But if you go to buy unga in Doldol today, you will buy it for the 250 or even 260. Why? It is because of the cost of transportation. The pathetic state of that road is making all the prices go up. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, the issue of security. There is no president who have done much in security like the current president. But again, Mr. Speaker, I want to urge the president that even as we recruit the police officers, we have those people who are called the National Police Reservists. Those National Police Reservists are actually sorting out the security situation in our counties more than any police officer can do. And my humble appeal is, at least these National Police Reservists should be kitted, should be at least well enumerated, should, if nothing else, at least SHA should be paid for all of them, so that as they put their life in line because of the citizens, because of us, and our cattle and our camels and our goats, at least somebody is.
Yeah, Janda, Shahir, Zahir.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I would like to support the President's speech. Honorable Speaker, the President's State of the Nation address speech was precise, measured, and deeply reassuring. He spoke with firm clarity on our national progress and set a confident, unifying tone for the path ahead for the country. A statement's message, very well balanced, articulate, visionary, and anchored in service to the people. Honorable Speaker, I am a very proud member of Parliament today because this government, after very many years, is doing a tarmac project of about 50 kilometers in my constituency, Nyaribari Chache. Honorable Speaker, one of the phenomenal projects that has happened in this government is the affordable housing project. Honorable Speaker, after many years of failed leadership and broken promises, the President has boldly revolutionized the housing sector, turning dreams into keys in the hands of our people. Through visionary policies, innovative solutions, institutional reforms, he has sparked a robust economic growth, created job opportunities, and proven to us that true leadership is not just about building houses, but a stronger and a prosperous nation for all of us in the Republic. Against all odds, Honorable Speaker, the President has defied expectations with unwavering resolve, firm discipline, and commitment to make Kenya an equal among the global nations and not a third world country, but a first world country. And that is where we are, and we're in full support of His Excellency, the President. Honorable Speaker, where many doubted, the President delivered, reviving hope, driving development, and uniting the country under the broad-based government. Honorable Speaker, the President's momentum, energy, his drive, and the synergy, and the programs and commitment to change is no longer in question. It is now the engine of Kenya's renewed hope and progress. Honorable Speaker, I want to disagree with my brother and my colleague, the Honorable Ndindi Nyoro, who just spoke right now. And the Honorable Ndindi Nyoro is talking about the government borrowing 3.5 billion shillings every single day. Honorable Speaker, I want to ask the Honorable Ndindi Nyoro, my colleague who is seated next to me here, to table and prove to this House and to the country how this money is being borrowed. That is a flat lie, and I want him to prove to us what he just said. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Janda, lie is not is a parliamentary language. You say misleading if you want to do that. Under the circumstances, you have to withdraw that. The word lie. You cannot say an honorable member of parliament.
I am sorry, Honorable Speaker. I want to withdraw the word lie and replace it with a misleading information to the country. And that is not right. So Honorable Ndindi Nyoro is misleading this House, is misleading this country with...
Order. You have not apologized. You apologize and withdraw the word lie that you have used, imputed against an honorable member.
Honorable Speaker, I want to apologize and withdraw that.
Oh,
thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Okay. The Honorable Adagala. Madam Adagala, followed by the MP for Garissa Township.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to also speak on the head of state speech in this House, Mr. Speaker. Sir. I want to support that speech, my Speaker, keeping in mind that most of my colleagues have spoken about it, and I also want to speak on it, Mr. Speaker. The head of state actually stressed on so many things that he has put in place as per his manifesto to the Kenyans. And most of the things promised, Mr. Speaker, are being done here and there. If you can look at when he took over the office, the shilling compared to the dollar was extremely very high. But Mr. Speaker, within a short period, the shilling has stabilized and we can see great things coming up. And I'm very sure very soon things are going to stabilize and the shilling and our economy is going to grow in the highest way that it's supposed to grow. Mr. Speaker, when it comes to housing development, I think this is one of the best that has the current government under His Excellency William Samuel Ruto has done, keeping in mind that every Kenyan deserves to live in a dignified manner. Every Kenyan needs to have a decent home, a decent housing, not with the flying toilets and other things that are best known. Mr. Speaker, I can commend him on this, because the other government also had, the other Jubilee government had the same housing in their manifesto, which never happened. But I want to thank the President through his statement, and even we can see from the ground, nearly every county housing program is going on. Mr. Speaker, when it comes to roads, I've seen my people complaining, especially Western region, they're complaining roads are not there, but I think in the next speech, I want to ask and I want to ensure that our roads also are anchored into the next program so that we have most of our roads tarmacked like other areas. My colleague here was talking about Honorable Ndindi. Ndindi here is a very good young man. I can see he's doing a lot in his area. I'm talking on size of roads because I envy his area. When I think he was in the chairman of budget, he put a lot of money on roads towards that side. The next speech that will come here, Mr. Speaker, I think it will now be roads from other areas like my area, which needs to be, roads needs to be tarmacked so much. But I want to say that this is the best message the President brought into this House, because things are being stabilized here and there. And Mr. Speaker, if we can go by that, this is just half, almost a quarter or 3/4 of his regime. I'm very sure in the next, I heard people screaming here 2-term, and I think in the next 2-term, things will be okay. The country will have stabilized in everything, and we will be good to go. Mr. Speaker, I think this should be encouraged, because once things stabilize, like I'm happy with the fertilizer. You know, us in our area side of our place, we like eating ugali, and I want to say that the fertilizer reduced from the last regime from 7,000 to 2,500, which is a plus. And also will encourage, as we are coming to the new year, I'll encourage also, he may look at the seeds also, the prices to come down, but the farmers also who are planting the maize and so forth also to have good prices. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, to me, this speech was very well calculated. It is a very good one. We need to encourage this, but now we want to ask the president to keep on pushing for more and also fight the demon that is called corruption. I'm sure once corruption is fought, this country, we are going to be among the best, as he is desiring Kenya to be like Singapore and other developed nations.
Yes, the Honorable MP for that is a township.
Thank you,
followed by the Honorable Rosa Buyu, and then followed by the Engineer Kiragu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
In that order, and then followed by Omondi Karoli. Proceed.
After me, okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, also for giving me this opportunity. Let me take this opportunity also to congratulate the President in his State of the Nation address last week on Thursday. Mr. Speaker, the President in his opening speech was that 2 years ago I made a statement here on the vision he has for this country. And he had outlined at that time the vision he had for this country. And on that also, the manifesto he presented to the Kenyan people during the last general election. Mr. Speaker, the President, the promises he made during the campaigns for 2022 elections and the statement that he made in 2023 during the State of the Nation address were in line with his vision he had for this country. What we need to ask ourselves as a country is the President following the promises he made? Is he implementing those programs that he promised as a country? And one of the things that we should be asking, is he following the manifesto that he had during the campaign period? Those who are keenly following those promises that he made, and again, as a country, we must be patient with the promises that are made. You do not expect miracles to happen in a country that had faced so many challenges. 60 years of neglect as a country, poor leadership, it cannot be changed by an individual within 3 years of leadership. The President has given us hope, and we must follow through that hope that he has given. Did the President promise food security in terms of subsidizing production against consumption? It is very clear in the last general election, before the general election of 2022, during the subsidy of unga, people were given certificates to go and source, tenders and to go and source for maize as a subsidy. And people were making a kill out of that. And at the end of the 2022 election, the country had a debt of 6 billion owing to those who were given subsidy to the millers. Did that improve? The fact that he gave subsidy to production, food production in terms of fertilizer, did it improve the food prices of this country? That is a fact, and it has happened. Did the President promise affordable housing? Did he promise during the election of 2022 in his manifesto? Yes. Did he promise during the first State of the Nation address? Yes. Is it happening? Yes, it is happening. And that can be confirmed. Did he promise markets? Yes. Are they happening? Are they under construction? They are happening. Did the President promise Hustler Fund? Today, hustlers have borrowed 80 billion Kenya shillings, and there is a saving of 5 billion shillings out of that 80 billion borrowed. And we have 76% payment those who borrowed. Did the president promise stabilization of the fuel prices? Yes. Did it happen? It happened. During Uhuru's time, fuel subsidy was done, almost 40 shillings a liter to the fuel OMCs, those who are supplying fuel to the country. During that period, did we face challenges in terms of accessing fuel in this country? Yes. Did it stabilize now? Do we have enough flow of fuel, the availability of this fuel? Yes. Did we pay, during that time, at the end of the 2022, after the election, oil dealers owed this government 70 billion Kenya shillings, and it was paid by William Ruto after he came to office. This country today, Mr. Speaker, every international organization is trooping into this country. WTO has opened. UN offices have been opened, relocating from New York and Geneva. Why is it happening? It's because of the stabilized country, politics, good politics, the democratic ideals of this country. Did the President promise teachers? 76,000 teachers were recruited during the last 2 periods. Almost a third of the country's teaching fraternity for the last 60 years. So, Mr. Speaker, as I support this agenda of the President, Kenyans must be patient with the President. We do not expect magic to happen so that...
Give him an additional 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, the President mentions a number of roads in this that he intends to construct. I want to do some asks from the President as the people of Northern Kenya and as a representative of people from Northern Kenya. Isiolo to Mandera Road is under construction that was started by this President, but the pace is going very slow. We want him to finish those roads between now and 2027. Garissa, Dadaab, and Liboi Road, a very key road that the President promised us, not yet started. We want him to look into that. Wajir Moyale Road, a very key road connecting us to Ethiopia to improve our economic activity of our nation. Mr. Speaker, let me say that we ask the President to take up those issues, the new roads we are asking as a people of Northern Kenya, and he's on right track. Those who are against his ideas are not factual. They just want to make it difficult for him to run this country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Rosa Biu, I thought I mentioned in that order. Proceed.
Mr. Speaker, I want to take this opportunity to thank you for giving me a chance to speak. And before I say anything, I just want to say that I've had a very long month. But God is gracious, and we are back on our feet, and the country will move on. Mr. Speaker, the biggest gift that the Constitution has for Kenyans is devolution. Because devolution dictates that every part of this country gets something or gets developed in equal measures like the other part. For a long time, Mr. Speaker, we've had issues with development being skewed, and many Kenyans have cried foul that they don't get any return of their hard work and of the taxes that they pay. And that was supposed to be cured by devolution. Mr. Speaker, when the President did speak to us last week, I'd hoped that he'd tackle the issue of devolution and the challenges that devolution is facing and what the government hopes and plans to do to meet or to effect, to answer to those challenges. But that did not come through very clearly. Mr. Speaker, I also expected the President to speak on corruption. We know that corruption ails many sectors in this country, and we know that not enough has been done to mitigate corruption. I also expected the President to talk about that. But having said that, Mr. Speaker, the greatest thing that the President demonstrated was the fact that in his reign and the few years that he's been on that throne, the distribution of development in all parts of Kenya is top of his agenda. Mr. Speaker, for a long, long time, Nyanza was left undeveloped because of the saying, and I dare say it in Kiswahili, siasa mbaya, maisha mbaya. Mr. Speaker, because we chose to do politics in a certain way, Nyanza was always left behind when it came to development. But I want to look at two aspects where the president has really performed well and where he demonstrated in his address. The two aspects are in infrastructure, in terms of roads and housing. And when I talk about Nyanza, we've seen tremendous improvement on roads. Mr. Speaker, in Kisumu, we've had the Chemelil, Miwani, Moroni Road, which has been lying like a dead elephant for a long time. But I'm happy to say that in his government, we now have that road almost complete. Mr. Speaker, we talk about SGR. SGR was a thing that was always in the other government, but SGR is now going to be effected, and it will run up to Malaba, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to look at South Nyanza and talk about the Lake Victoria Ring Road. We know that when that is done, it will open up places and it will ease transport and open up economic opportunities for the people. And the reason why I'm saying this is in his address and in his government, we are seeing that areas that were underdeveloped or long forgotten, despite the fact that they did not vote for the government and other people chose to call them non-shareholding areas, he has turned a blind eye to that non-shareholding nonsense and is actually looking at Kenya as a whole and developing Kenya as one nation. Mr. Speaker, I come from Kisumu West. We have one tarmac road, but guess what? Hololela is also going to be tarmacked, and it's in this budget, in an area where nobody ever thought that we would have a security road by the name of Hololela. And I want to thank the President for all the effort that he's putting and ensuring that Kenya moves as one. Because when development is skewed, there'll be no peace in this country. But when you spread out development and every Kenyan feels like they're taken care of, Kenya will remain peaceful. So I want to thank the President for the effort that he's put. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you once again.
Engineer Kiragu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to comment on the presidential speech. One, I want to thank the President for a speech that gave us the history of this country and also gave us the direction and the hope as to how we can move this country forward. I also want to take note of the fact that he has fulfilled that obligation that is in our constitution to come to this house to give a state of the nation. Mr. Speaker, for us to grow this economy, we will need to be people who are not fearful, people who will make decisions and follow them through. We have been mentioning many countries like Singapore, Malaysia, China, Japan, and many others. Mr. Speaker, those countries made very, very difficult decisions for them to be who they are. And this country, for us to solve some of the major problems we have of unemployment of our youth, we have to make very difficult decisions. Mr. Speaker, we have a challenge of making this country competitive to enable people to come to this country to invest so that we can create employment. One of the key things that the President mentioned is to bring down the cost of power in this country. And I am happy myself as an engineer when he mentioned about nuclear energy. Many people fear this nuclear energy generation. But most of the countries that have made it, they have actually utilized the nuclear energy to make their power generation more efficient and affordable. So for us to move on is to stabilize our education system, to make sure that we emphasize research and development. I know, Mr. Speaker, one time I was the engineer in charge of Nyayo Car. And when we finished the testing and we were to do commercial, there was argument, and I want to respect my friend, honorable member of Nyoro of Keharu. I had many such economists give figures and data, and all of them, they were negative. What we lost as a country is an opportunity to be a car manufacturer, because they argued you are not many in the country. And I was there seated saying, what about Sweden? They are only 7 million with their car like Saab and Volvo, and they were doing well. But Mahindra, the one of India, they made that decision at that time. And today, Mahindra is a vehicle manufacturing company. So this opportunity we have today as Kenyans to move this country forward will require us to make sure that the route we will take will develop the infrastructure, will skill our people up so that they have a challenge for this century. And I believe in the infrastructure, the ICT network that we have, lowering our power generation, we can improve this country so that it becomes competitive. Speaker, on Friday, I welcome all the members of this House and the public to come and witness a historical event when we are launching the Mau Summit Kamadora project. Many people will talk about figures and scare us, but this is a reality. That road between Limuru and Naivasha, we have had many people who have died. As a country, we have lost over 4,000 people in a motor vehicle accident. What about the time we lose in our highways? I wish somebody can quantify that when they are giving the data. As a country, we are ready to improve infrastructure in this country. And Mr. Speaker, unless we do some of this very heavy lifting, this country will not be able to be taken to where we are. We cannot compare ourselves with our neighbors. I wish somebody could say, what is the debt GDP ratio of Sudan, Uganda, and our neighboring country? And also tell us, in US, what is the debt?
Give him a minute more. Conclude, Engineer Kiragu.
So that when we are talking about this debt ratio, we also factor the others that we know, and to see whether this country is way off or is also in the same region with the others who want to go like we want to do. But I believe this House, this time, we cannot talk about the past. We have an opportunity ourselves to guide this country to move ahead. Thank you.
Mondi Karoli, I thought was next in that order.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. Let me begin by conveying my condolences to the Jaramogi family on the loss of Beryl Achieng Odinga, one of the late Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga's sisters. She was a very gentle lady, very calm, and we are very sorry for losing her, especially soon after we lost our dear departed Prime Minister. So our condolences to the Jaramogi family. We wish them all the strength to endure this loss. Honorable Speaker, I'm very happy that the President gave a very eloquent speech in this House. And if you saw the enthusiasm with which he delivered it, and even the way it was drafted and the comparisons it gave, it was a great speech, no doubt. And I think it really painted his vision for the country and what he thought we should do to achieve that vision. But I'm very sorry, I think it was rather misplaced in the context of a State of the Nation address. And I'm saying that as a lawyer and somebody who was a good civics student, and also out of a desire that when we debate some issues here, we should project the correct position under our Constitution to Kenyans, and especially those who are still in school who could be looking at us. If you look at Article 132 of our Constitution, the State of the Nation address should capture three issues. One, measures taken and progress achieved in the realization of national values and principles under Article 10 of our Constitution. And the President gave us a report which is 667 pages on that particular matter. The second item that the State of the Nation address should cover is progress made in fulfilling the international obligations of the Republic of Kenya. Again, the President submitted a report of 659 pages on that particular item. And the last one is the state of national security, where he presented a 116 pages report. But if you look at his speech, there's a disconnect. He did not talk to these reports. So we could be confusing wananchi that the President's speech, which in my view would have been a great pre-budget statement or a very great statement at the launch of a party manifesto, is what the State of the Nation address should be. And I'm saying this because the question we should ask ourselves, why a State of the Nation address and why Article 10 of the Constitution? There's a reason. Because the framers of our Constitution believed great nations, progressive nations, and stable nations are founded on national values and strong institutions. And those are the two areas that the State of the Nation address should be talking to us every year about, so that we can list those values. And of course, they're in this report. But if you listen to the President's speech and you're just an ordinary person, you'd think the State of the Nation address is about roads, is about hospitals, is about this. Those are elements of a very narrow concept of the national values, which may be inclusivity or respect of human rights. But we have issues of devolution, and devolution, we've had it for now about a decade and a few years. Has it worked? What are the challenges? What are we doing to make devolution work for the people? These are the kind of things that I'd expected we would talk about. Public participation is a national value. We still don't have a public participation law. What are we doing to have a public participation law? Human rights. We have issues to do with compensation to victims of police brutality, riot victims. What are we doing about this? These are the kind of things. Integrity issues, which some members have articulated here. What have we done to fight corruption? How many people have been prosecuted successfully? What has been recovered? These are the kind of things. The Chapter 15 constitutions and the independent offices, have we strengthened them? Have we weakened them? Have we given them budgets? Are we teaching nationhood science, our national values in our schools? In terms of international obligations, have we fulfilled our obligations under customary international law, under treaties that we are parties, under state organizations, international organizations to which we are members? These are the kind of things that this House should be debating. So we are confusing wananchi when we are talking so strongly about roads, railways, but those are not the contents of a State of the Nation address. State of the Nation address has been defined under Article 132 of our Constitution. And as great as a speech that was delivered here, which cumulatively is about 1,500 pages, surely we should...
You want to give him an additional 1 minute. Proceed, and you can take a minute if you...
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The reason why I'm saying this is that if we truly aspire to make Kenya a great country, like Singapore did, it is based on values. It is based on strong institutions. Look at the book of Lee Kuan Yew. Lee Kuan Yew said two major statements. One, if you want to compete globally, then you must adopt global standards. Number two, when he was asked the question which we always ask, why did Singapore make it and Kenya didn't make it? He said, in Singapore, they let me live. In Kenya, they killed my friend Tom Mboya. It's about institutions, it's about leadership, it's about values. And the State of the Nation address is supposed to keep reinforcing and re-emphasizing those issues every year before this House and to the public, so that as a nation we can all draw together behind one vision. We don't even have a successor of Vision 2030. A partisan political party manifesto like what we have, the UDA manifesto, cannot be expected to deliver the kind of transformation we want. A true transformation will come out of a joint economic platform built by all parties and the entire country. And that is what the State of the Nation should be about. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Naomi Wako, followed by Honorable Waluke, and followed by the Honorable MP for the Gorete South. Am I right? And
Thank you.
then to be able to temper it also in terms of gender, the Honorable MP for Narok North. I'll come to you. I'll come to you all.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to also add my contribution to the current debate on the presidential address of 20th November 2025. Honorable Speaker, as a country, this speech has helped us to see a growing country, to see a country that is rebuilding its economy, to see a country that is being unified, to see a country that the leader, who is His Excellency the President, is working very hard to move from third world to the first world. Honorable Speaker, that cannot come easily. We have to all work very hard, and especially the elected leaders, together with our great people of this nation. We must work together so that we realize that big dream of transforming the entire nation. Honorable Speaker, when this government came into power 2022, we found ourselves in a big challenge because of the damage that COVID-19 brought. People's economy and businesses has crashed. Many people have suffered because of the challenges we went through during COVID. The country has gone through a big challenge because we were not growing in terms of economical empowerment, and because our businesses has come down. But Honorable Speaker, immediately we came into power, our president focused on different areas, on health, housing, infrastructure, and education. As a result of that, this government has enabled 73,000 teachers to be employed. And under that employment, every part of this country has benefited. One good thing that our president has done is serving this country and bringing all of us together, and also exercising equality. Honorable Speaker, I want to congratulate our president for all that he has done, and especially on health issues. SHA is working today. I remember when we debated, others were making fun of it and saying SHA, she, chief, and everything. And they were so negative. But today, their own families are benefiting. I have a relative who has benefited from this. Under education, as I said, our president is fully committed. And that is why, again, we have that promise of 100 teachers, 100,000 teachers to be employed. That will transform education sector. And Honorable Speaker, we also know very well that His Excellency spoke about infrastructure, the many roads that are being built, and lots of roads that were not on today are working. Mine is just to say that areas like the place I come from, the security roads and other things that we have already made requests, and even I know when the president will visit our county for development tour, we'll be able to put some things in light. But mine is just to say that as a nation, one area that our president needs to focus on is on fighting corruption, which has become a real problem to us. I know he's focused, I know he's committed, but his next speech should cover that.
Give her a minute, an additional minute.
In his speech, the President extended a deserved recognition to this 13th Parliament. Honorable Speaker, we all know very well what happened 2024. Today we are recovering, and we have helped our President to grow this country together with us. And we know very well that under his leadership, this House will continue making some positive marks and bringing this nation to a place where everybody will say, yes, we are in good hands. And thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I support.
The Honorable Waluke, when the chair gives a certain order, that order has got.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me a chance also to contribute on the State of the National Address of the President. Our President was very clear, Honorable Speaker, and his speech inspired many of us on that day, Honorable Speaker. He talked of so many things that affect us as people of this nation, Honorable Speaker, especially the economy of this country. Honorable Speaker, it is true that the economy of this country has improved compared to as it was before. Honorable Speaker, in 3 years, indeed, our President has tried because of paying debts for this country and also making sure that the country does not remain behind in terms of development. The country is developing. Is the first president, the Honorable Speaker, to make sure that he pushes the resources from the central government to the down to the villages, to the constituencies, to the counties, where the people of Kenya are, because we all come from rural to the city, Honorable Speaker. He has made sure that when you go around the country, Honorable Speaker, everywhere, you can see a project, a national project, either water project, road infrastructure, Honorable Speaker, electricity. You can see it is going on almost everywhere. Development, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, as we speak, the inflation has come down. You saw 2 years ago, politicians were wearing sufurias on their heads because of lack of food. They incited the country. Honorable Speaker, our young people joined them. But now, there is plenty of food because of the prices of fertilizer came down from 7 to 2,500. And that is what we were lacking. And the GDP, Honorable Speaker, is growing from 115 to now billion to now 136, which is showing that at least Kenya is growing economically. Honorable Speaker, if all Kenyans support the President, he is out to make sure that he moves this country to another level, which is our desire, Honorable Speaker. The latest that I saw was about Kenyatta, to make sure that the youth of this country can also join others to do business, so that they grow together with other businessmen and women of this country, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we are moving together, supporting the President to make sure that this country is moving the right direction because he wants to move Kenya to another level. He has a vision and a mission and a direction of this country, Honorable Speaker. So with those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I urge Kenyans to support and leave alone the politics, because politics is over until 2027. But all of us, as people of this country, should come together and leave out the hatred so that we can support our country, we can support our government, we can support our president to move our country forward. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
MP for the Greater South, followed by Madam Pareo. No, first is KJ first.
Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity to debate this very important event in the Parliament, in the life of Parliament, Mr. Speaker, when the President gets the opportunity to appear before this House and report to country on the progress that is being made on the promotion of our national values. Secondly, for the President to come and tell us how we are doing as concerns our international obligations, and also for the President to come and talk to us about the state of national security. And Mr. Speaker, we all have to admit that away even just from the substance, even the form, the way this State of the Nation address was delivered was in a state that we all agree was done very well, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, coming out of this address, it was clear that we have a leadership and a president who has decided that we can no longer as a country afford to kick the can down the road. That it is time for country to do those things that we have always wished to have done since independence, but have never had the political goodwill or even the fortitude to do them, Mr. Speaker. We all know that some of the things that the President is reporting to us on the state of the nation, be it housing, be it universal health care, be it the change of our education system, be it a matter to do with the promotion of our youth, are issues that have lived in our manifestos for now more than 6 decades, Mr. Speaker. But each time any president has attempted to go forward with affordable housing or to go forward with universal health care, because of wanting to play populist politics, everyone has shied away from it. But Mr. Speaker, coming from the address, we could see the president report to us on the progress that we are seeing on affordable housing, Mr. Speaker. Unprecedented development across this country, offering in excess of 160,000 jobs to our youth, creation of fittings and furniture in our houses by our own fundis, Mr. Speaker. Things that we have wanted to do for over 6 decades are happening now, Mr. Speaker. We all know what mess we had run into as a country because of NHIF and the things that were happening as we were developing private hospitals at the expense of our public hospitals. And now, Mr. Speaker, coming out of this address from the President, we can see clearly that we are reversing that drive towards the building of private hospitals using national resources at the expense of national and public hospitals, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, the takeout from this address is that, one, Kenya is at a place where we have decided we will not kick this can down the road. We will face these problems head on, and we shall deal with them head on, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the second thing I heard from this State of the Nation address, beyond the figures and the numbers that were enumerating the successes, I had a new call, Mr. Speaker, to a reimagined Kenya, where we have to think as a country, if we want development, where does the money come from? And Mr. Speaker, it is very clear that for the last years, we have been getting money from people's savings. We go to China and get a loan. The loan we get there is the savings of the people of China. And the President, in the State of the Nation address, was calling us to reimagine how, as a nation, we can push up our pensions, how we can push up our savings, and even how we can reorganize our budgets to save more as a country than we have been saving, Mr. Speaker. And why this is important, Mr. Speaker, is because going forward, we can see where we are at with our debts. We have already touched the debt ceiling, Mr. Speaker. So this call by the president on an infrastructural bond, on a sovereign bond, Mr. Speaker, talking to us about how we can become the new Singapore, Mr. Speaker, the answer lies in the soft issues. For Singapore to be what they became, there are two critical things that Singapore did. One, meritocracy, the place for meritocracy. And Mr. Speaker, the second thing is patriotism. On meritocracy, Mr. Speaker, we have to say that Kenya is in no doubt going to get 100% of President William Ruto. The question has to be, what percentage of KJ will Kenya get? What percentage of that other person will Kenya get? The president has committed to his job.
Give him an additional minute.
This president has demonstrably committed to doing his job, but Mr. Speaker, it must be said that he may not be able to do it on his own. What this House must call up the executive to do is the executive must bring up meritocracy. Those who perform must be rewarded for performance. Those who can't perform must go home, Mr. Speaker, and we get people who are able to deliver together with the president. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, patriotism as a soft issue. We all must be proud to belong. And by being proud to belong, Mr. Speaker, then we shall be able to give not only our 100%, but everybody else's 100% for the betterment of country. And Mr. Speaker, the state of nation, as I had it, is that this nation is coming from a very deep hole. We have stopped digging. Now we are starting to find how to claw out of this hole. Mr. Speaker, I do thank you.
The Honorable Madam Pareyo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to add my voice to the State of the Nation address by His Excellency. This speech, I listened to it, and this speech gives hope to Kenyans. Why? Because when this government came to power, Kenyans had a lot of problems, starting from food. There were so many families that could not put food on the table. But when he came with an idea of subsidized fertilizers, all farmers were able to put food on the table because they could get food to give to their children. And when you look at our constituencies, there are constituencies that have not developed like others. There are those that were not considered. But these days we see the president making sure that we equally get what other constituencies are getting. When he came to power, you look at my constituency, when I went to him to see him on electricity, definitely he was able, and we were given an affirmative action funds to make sure that we come to the level of where other constituencies are. That means that all the development agendas are in every constituency, not like those days when there were people who are considered leaving other people behind. So we are now moving at the same path, and we are proud to say that in our constituencies, we see projects coming up. Like in my constituency, we have a road that they have already tendered, and that is going to be a tarmac road that will be done in an area where we do wheat. And some of my people are farmers, others are pastoralists who look after the animals, but we have no roads. But we see the president now coming out, considering these constituencies like other constituencies. So this speech gives us hope and gives us a direction of where we are coming from and where he wants to go. I know that he had to make very hard decisions when he came to power because almost there was nothing moving.
And everybody was annoyed because we were all complaining of fuel, we were complaining of food, and we were not seeing what was going on. And there were people demonstrating, putting the sufurias on top of their heads, because that was a demonstration to say that they have no food to put on their tables. But these days, we have more than enough. We have food that we eat, and we have food that we keep in our stores for tomorrow. So for that reason, again, when you talk about health, people were wondering what will happen now that NHIF was not there. What is this that they call SHA? But today, I'm proud to say that even my people know what SHA is. When they come to me, they say, yes, I have a patient in the hospital, but SHA was able to cover the bill for my patient. So I see SHA working. So when I listen to him talking, as much as people think that he was not articulate to what he was telling Kenyans, to some of us who have been behind and who have been left behind, we see improvement in his leadership, and he gives us hope. And when you look at his speech, we get hope, and we feel Kenyans like everybody else. Thank you.
The Honorable Christine Ombaka, followed by the Honorable Basil.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving.
Honorable Sigei, then Mayaka. Okay. Then I'll come to Karachuonyo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Before I put my case forward, let me take this opportunity to pass my condolences to the family of Jaramogi Oginga Odinga for the loss of Beryl Achieng, the sister to Baba Raila Amolo Odinga. May her soul rest in eternal peace. Back to the speech of the President, the State of the Nation, I must say how intriguing it was. It was very exciting. When the President presented his speech, he himself was so confident in his presentation. He was so exciting. He was so committed to his ideas. And one thing that stood out was that he highlighted a lot about the infrastructure for quite a lot of time. And the infrastructure, as he described what he wants to see, he was measuring it against Singapore and the economy of Singapore. In other words, he had a mission. He has a mission to fulfill that will have the standards that Singapore has had. So when it comes to infrastructure, he talked of the road system, how he really wants to extend the road system, including the SGR. And one begins to imagine, the imagination I got when he was presenting was I was seeing America, I was seeing South Africa, the extent to which the roads are well done. We always admire the trains that you see in America, the ones that you see in South Africa. The road system is so good, is so excellent. If we can reach there, the way the President described, we are good to go. That means the President will leave a huge legacy on the infrastructure. My only caution is that when that is being done, as we look forward to it excitedly, he must make sure that the standards are met, that the roads are done on they must do good roads that have quality standards, that we do not have constant potholes, that they are not too narrow, even though they may be good. They are not too narrow, they are wide, and that the infrastructure that is going to put in our system is going to be something admirable, something that looks like in Singapore. The second point that he raised was on health. He highlighted the role of community health workers. These are a group of people who are trained at local level to manage health problems that local people do have and would refer them to main hospitals. These are people who are trained but have never been properly utilized. Their skills have never been utilized properly. Their terms and conditions of employment is so poor, and normally they tend to be neglected. If the president has highlighted that he's going to make use of them, then I see a lot of improvement in healthcare from the local level, where the community health workers will have their terms and conditions better improved. They will be able to be motivated, they'll be on salaries, and that they will do their work skillfully. Lastly, but not least, the president had a lot of good things. The hope that we all look forward to seeing at his time when he's the president. Whether he's going to be there for 2 terms, I can see that he's going to leave this country a better place than the way we thought he would leave it. He also introduced an issue of economic empowerment for young people, that is Nyota, but we should not forget that he had already introduced one called Hustler. But we have many more, such as Wazo Fund, we also have Youth Fund, we also have Women Economic Enterprise. These are funds that support young people, women, and people living with disability. I'm so happy that the president has introduced Nyota as well. So the Kenyan people will have access to finances that they can utilize to improve their businesses, and therefore unemployment, issues of...
Give her half a minute.
Yeah, I'm saying issues of economic empowerment will improve the people's economy. There will be self-employment will be there, and the people's lives will improve with the kind of funds that is supposed to give them empowerment. Thank you very much.
Honorable Basil, MP for Yatta.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to support the speech that was made by His Excellency, the President of this country. From onset, I want to applaud the President for making a very solid speech. And I want to say one of the very remarkable statements that he made was actually the lowering the cost of power. If you look at Asian tigers, we are talking of Taiwan, we are talking of Japan, we are talking of Singapore, we are talking of China. They made it where they are today because of making the right choices. When you talk of power, electricity is one of the very essential ingredients to boost and to drive the economy. And if you lower cost of power in Kenya, you're going to attract many investors. You're going to make Kenya a competitive country when it comes to pooling external resources right here in the country, Mr. Speaker. Importantly, currently we are talking of unemployment. Quite a number of our youth are not able to get meaningful employment to be able to earn for themselves. When we lower cost of power, Mr. Speaker, many of the investors who come here, they'll be able to open doors for employment. If you look at a country like Ethiopia that I mentioned a while back, Ethiopia is getting it right because their cost of power is low. So when this president made it right that he's going to consider to lower cost of energy, I totally agree with him, and that is the right step, the right action that this country should make. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, on matters to do with infrastructure, the president is making very serious and tangible milestone on infrastructure. I'm talking of bitumen standard roads, and I'll make reference of my constituency, Mr. Speaker Yatta. For the first time in history, we are getting the first 10 kilometers of bitumen standards for a very critical road that is even going to decongest Thika Road, Mr. Speaker. Because the road that the president has advertised through his government to be upgraded to bitumen standard, it will be the doorway to go to Mombasa if you are coming from Nyeri or if you are coming to Central. For people who have no business in Nairobi who want to get it to Mombasa quickly, they'll now use Yatta as an alternative, Mr. Speaker. And that is a critical road. Instead of ethnicizing development, it's important to put investment where it matters. And on infrastructure, I applaud the president for the step he's making. And I would say if we continue this way, then we'll be in the right path to be able to get at the same level with Asian tankers and many other countries that have made it and who are in the same level like us, Mr. Speaker. On matters to do with markets, Mr. Speaker, allow me to say the president is doing very well on markets. In Yatta, for instance, I've got 2 markets. And there is one additional market that is on the way, Mr. Speaker. And these markets are going to boost employment, and I'm talking of informal employment, informal sector of the economy, where most of the people are dominant, they are women, Mr. Speaker. So with the markets, we'll be able to feed many families, and more so poor families, who are dependent on women as the drivers of the economy when it comes to markets and in the informal sector, Mr. Speaker. Importantly on sports, Mr. Speaker, and I'll beg for additional few minutes. I think I have very salient points that are important for many of our members of parliament to also try to listen to, so I do request for additional few points, or few minutes, Mr. Speaker. So on sports, Mr. Speaker, for the first time in history, I've got a sport academy, Mr. Speaker, and this is going to nurture talents. We are talking of nurturing talents and ensuring the youth get employment through sports. So through having a sports academy in my constituency, for instance, and many other constituencies across the country, that is a step in the right direction, Mr. Speaker. And we have to applaud the president for this, not just politicize it for the sake of politics, Mr. Speaker. And then when it comes to water, water is an essential factor, is an element that you can't ignore when it comes to food security, Mr. Speaker. In my constituency, for instance, I have irrigation schemes that have been started and which are almost to completion, Mr. Speaker. And I also want to remind...
Give him an additional 2 minutes.
When it comes to my constituency, we also have mega dams. And His Excellency the President, Mr. Speaker, he did mention of mega dams, including Yatta Dam, which is centralized in Yatta constituency, Mr. Speaker. If this dam eventually be constructed, it will be a game changer on food security in my constituency and its environs, Mr. Speaker. We are talking of Thika East, we are talking of Muranga, and many other constituencies, that is Gatanga and others, that are bordering Yatta constituency, who are going to benefit from Yatta Dam, Mr. Speaker. And then lastly, technology. Mr. Speaker, His Excellency is investing in digital hubs across the country, Mr. Speaker. And some are in my constituency, another constituency, Mr. Speaker. The digital hub is a key drive when it comes to technology. We are talking of what we call exponential age, technology age that we are talking about in the country today. We can't be able to move if we don't get it right on technology. And I do applaud the president for focusing on digital hubs, among other technology investments. So it's important we give credit where it's due. And then finally, it's about research. That's an area we need to put more resources into to be able to put our country at the same level with the countries like China and many others that are embracing themselves with research through, that is technology through research. So thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I support the speech. Thank you.
The Honorable, who was next? I had said Honorable MP for Sotik. Then followed by the MP for Karachuonyo. No, for Mayaka, Karachuonyo, and then Abdistrat Khalif. And then, of course, we'll come to you, Kemei.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to also stand here to support the very excellent and eloquent speech given by His Excellency the President last week on Thursday. Mr. Speaker, I want to join my colleagues in applauding the President for making such a visionary, bold, honest, and a speech with a lot of hope for Kenyans. Mr. Speaker, when I saw the President making a speech there, I could see a confident President. But the catchword, Mr. Speaker, in his speech was about moving this country from third world country to a first world country. And Mr. Speaker, he gave us a roadmap in which it has never been given. But Mr. Speaker, you can understand people who are not believing in the president. I understand them, Mr. Speaker, because this country has tried several times to implement things like housing, implement things like universal health suffrage, but it has never happened. But with now the president who has taken bold steps, sure steps, and he touches on serious and fundamental areas of this economy of this country. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to say I was very happy to hear the president, particularly touching on agriculture, a critical area. Agriculture is a critical area, and for the last 2 years, Mr. Speaker, the president has taken bold steps, and we have seen fruits. Subsidized fertilizer, Mr. Speaker, from 7,000 to 2,500 shillings. It has done a revolution. A reformed agriculture can now feed the nation. We now have food security. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that in Sotik, we, the people of that constituency, have really appreciated what the president has done. And we want to say we are going to work hard to make sure that whatever he wants to achieve is achieved. Mr. Speaker, I only want to mention that in Sotik, and I am very sure it is all over with the dairy farmers, we have a big problem because the farmers have not been paid for the last 4 months. And Mr. Speaker, this is not progress. Mr. Speaker, this government, and I know the president is very aware about this, the president must address the issue of KCC, the farmers must be paid on time, and if there's a problem with KCC, we must reform KCC. Mr. Speaker, I want to mention what the president said about National Infrastructure Fund. Mr. Speaker, this is one of the bold decisions which the president has done. And Mr. Speaker, when you mention the road from Limuru, the road from Rironi to Mau Summit, the road from Limuru to Maimahiu, Mr. Speaker, that's the route I use to Narok and then Sotik. It is a nightmare. And if the president can be able to fix that problem we have in that road, Mr. Speaker, this country will go far. The road from Rironi to Mau Summit will be a game changer. Mr. Speaker, the road from, which is now fixing in my constituency, from Gibsonoi to Kamureito to Kapkele, is a game changer in my constituency. Mr. Speaker, I want to applaud the president. I want to also ask the prophets of doom to stop and believe in the president. I want to ask Kenyans to come together and support the president, because this president has a vision. This president is looking ahead of us. And I'm very sure, Mr. Speaker, if we support the president, this country will have a change. I want us to address the issue of corruption. Mr. Speaker, that's something which is an elephant in the house. And we cannot avoid this one. We must look at the corruption which is manifested.
Give him an additional 2 minutes.
We want to look at the corruption which is almost everywhere, Mr. Speaker. This will assist the president to achieve whatever he wants to achieve. Mr. Speaker, we want to address the issue of the county governments, because this is an area where there are a lot of corruption. Even in national government, we have corruption. The president must put people in government who are serious, who will carry his vision, who will be able to say, yes, we are with the president. Mr. Speaker, we must support the president. We must support him because we believe in his vision. We must fight tribalism, Mr. Speaker, a disease which is giving us a lot of problems. People who are bitter about personalities. Mr. Speaker, we must stop and come together as Kenyans and work together. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. I support.
The Honorable Mayaka, followed by Karachuonyo, and then followed by the MP for nominated MP Absalat Khalif.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to also make my contributions in regards to the motion on the State of the Nation address by His Excellency the President. This was an address, Honorable Speaker, where the President told us that when he came to Parliament 2 years ago, he had a vision to tell, and now he was coming to tell us a story about that vision he has. And Honorable Speaker, I believe in giving credit where it's due. And I just want to give credit to the President for some of the things that he had put in place and said that he will do that have actually come to fruition. One of them being the President promised that the price of unga would actually become lower. And that is something that he achieved. When at the beginning of his term, the shilling was doing extremely badly in this country. But right now, the shilling has stabilized at 129 shillings. Another thing, Honorable Speaker, is our inflation rate, which was at an exceeding percentage of 9.6% in 2022, but right now is at 4.6%. Honorable Speaker, if you have a look at the Nairobi Securities and the Nairobi Stock Exchange market, which had lost a lot of public goodwill, they are now back on track. And these are some of the things that the President actually highlighted in his speech. Another thing for me that is very interesting and very important to even my people back in Nyamira, it's in the agriculture sector. In 2002, when they introduced the Kenya Integrated Agricultural Management Information System, only 300,000 farmers had registered. But right now, we have 7.1 million farmers who have registered into this. And this has actually been very helpful to farmers because it has brought into place an opportunity for there to be scientific interventions in how we do agriculture in our country. It has helped to eliminate brokers and middlemen who have really affected the agricultural space in our country. Honorable Speaker, for me, being a country that is very focused economically on agriculture is very important because it also attaches us to what is happening in the current world. I'm only hoping that in future we will be able to get into even a space where we are using other high-level technologies in the agricultural space. Honorable Speaker, looking at the fiber expansion in our country, and in particular public Wi-Fi, we are coming from a position where we had zero public Wi-Fi in this country to 1,500 accessible public Wi-Fi in our country. We currently have 300 digital hubs with 400 in the pipeline. And Honorable Speaker, and especially taking into consideration the fact that we are a very youthful nation, this is very encouraging because it enables young people to also integrate into digital economy. Honorable Speaker, the other factor is under the nyota. And for me, what was very exciting is the fact that myself and Honorable Crystal Asige have co-sponsored a bill called the Startup Bill, which speaks a lot into matters involving the young people and enablers for the young people to be able to be their own employers, to be able to have entrepreneurs, to have an environment where they're able to actually get capacity build in terms of the digital marketing, to be capacity build in terms of copyright association. And I like the fact that the Nyota program has all this into consideration. Honorable Speaker, some of the other things that the President also highlighted that for me were very exciting, and I really hope that we will actually have this in place by the time we get into the next election, was the dueling of some of the major roads that affect some of us, like the routes that goes to Kisii, the road that goes from Nairobi, Kisumu, all the way to Busia. And Honorable Speaker, as I finish, I also want to touch on the matter of moving from a third world to a first world. And I just want to invite not only the other members of Parliament, but also Kenyans, to read a book by the founding Prime Minister of Singapore. It's called The Third World, From the Third World to the First World, The Singaporean Story. because Lee Kuan Yew had to make very tough decisions for Singapore to get to where it is. And I like that the president said that we would like to also be like Singapore. And there's nothing wrong with that, Honorable Speaker, because as Dr. Jasmine Skulak once said, there is nothing wrong with being a copycat if you're copying.
Give us some 2 more minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'll just take that again. And I just want to say that there is nothing wrong with us wanting to be like Singapore. And if you read this book and snippets of it, you'll see the tough decisions that this particular founding prime minister had to make for his country to be such a good example that even our president referred to it in his speech. And I just want to finish that by saying that, as Dr. Jasmine Skulak once said, there is nothing wrong with being a copycat if you're copying the right cat. With those few remarks, I submit. I thank you.
MP for Karachuonyo, followed by Abdisrat Khalif.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me the opportunity to comment on this presidential speech, which was very eloquent, full of substance, and, in my opinion, very good. Now, the president really emphasized on infrastructure, under which roads, SGR, energy fall, together with others. And I was impressed, because these are the engines of development. The president's dream is noble. He would like this country to move from third world to first world. We long for that time. It will be a time that will make us remember this president as one who has done for us was what Napoleon could not do in history. I know when he was talking about roads, my mind was struggling with, where is my area? Yes, I have some roads being worked on in my area, like a Jichoteko road. It is my hope this road.
Order, honorable members, there's an honorable member who's listening loudly to our. Where is that coming from? Huh? Where is that? I thought there was some sound interfering with. Who is interfering with? Honorable members, don't put on your phones, your mobile phones, when there's a session in Parliament here. Proceed, MP for Karachuonyo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Now, I was saying that in my area, we have some roads which I'm sure he is covered by what he said. That's a Jichoteko road, plus 2 others which are ongoing. I was also keen to listen on what he was saying about SGR and also energy. These were ambitious projects, very costly in nature. So again, my mind was struggling that if the president wants to do these things for us, there is a devil waiting somewhere. The funding. Where is he going to get the funding for these projects? I'm in Finance and National Planning Committee. And I was wondering whether the president would probably end by talking about sacrifice in terms of paying tax. But the president is aware of what I also know, and all of us know, that Kenyans are crying our taxation is very high, and therefore we hoped he was not going to touch about that. So the president went on to talk about PPP. I support this. That's the only way out that would help us in funding these ambitious projects the president had. Because if we do tax Kenyans, we will find problems with the Kenyan people, because we'll be adding what is already a burden. And I would be very reluctant to see that being done. So it is my happiness that the president did not talk about any taxation based on what he was telling us. It is my hope that the president will be able to find good partners who would sign with us good agreements that can help the implementation of PPP. Because if that's done, I'm sure the president will be able to fund his ambition for third world level, for first world level, without too much of a burden on Kenyans.
Give him an additional 1 minute.
Yeah, I was just concluding saying that let us help the president implement these things. It is my hope that this will be done at the lowest possible cost without hurting the projects themselves. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Abdisrat Khalif.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to take this opportunity to contribute to the speech of the President. Mr. Speaker, the President's speech comprised literally of two aspects, the short term and long term. In the short term, he expressed that many things are happening in Kenya, like health sector, the health sector, the markets, the housing, which are doing very well. He also suggested that we need to do more in terms of agriculture, in terms of energy, roads, which cannot be financed through the traditional way. You are all aware that we used to fund our development through debts. These debts are becoming unsustainable. In fact, we have reached our ceiling and we are no longer able to borrow like before. He therefore suggested the creation of infrastructure fund that can help to do mega projects that can take this country to where we all want. Mr. Speaker, the speech honestly gave us some glad tidings, gave us hope. Where we are going is as important as where we are now. And it's only through hope that we can, look forward to the future. Therefore, the President has given us hope. Mr. Speaker, the infrastructure fund the President talked about is going to help us in the development of roads. We are having a shortfall of building roads up to 20,000 kilometers. Where we come from, the northern Kenya, literally we have no tarmac roads. It's therefore through these mega, projects that the President talked about, is what is going to give the people of northern Kenya the hope they need. Mr. Speaker, you are aware that we only have 15% of arable land that are now being used for agriculture. The growing, population of this country means we need to put more land into agricultural use. And that can only be done through irrigation, by having mega dams, by, using these rivers. Where I come from, Mandera, we have a river called River Dawa, which is passing through Mandera County. If we use that water, use irrigation and harness that water, it can really feed the people of Mandera County and have surplus for for the rest of the country and even export, Mr. Speaker. We therefore encourage the President and give all the support he needs in creation of this infrastructure fund that is going to be used for agricultural use. Mr. Speaker, we also have a shortfall in terms of energy. The number of households that are now connected to electricity is limited in this country. Is therefore, the President's speech talked about having electricity available to our homes. We therefore encourage him to do more and support him. Mr. Speaker, some naysayers are casting aspersions on the integrity and the speech of the President. I wonder, what else will he have done as the president of this country other than giving us hope and alternatives to take us forward? People are talking about Singapore. They are talking about Japan. All those countries must have foregone some luxury to reach where they are now. I implore, I urge everybody in this country, including...
Yeah, give him 2 more minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me repeat that. Everybody, including members of parliament in this house, must support the President to take this country where we want. We have to forego some luxury. We have to do what it takes to move forward. We can't be always talking about poverty, talking about lack of funding. 60 years after independence, we must change something to go far. Otherwise, we'll be talking about, now we are competing, we are saying we are the 6th in Africa. If we don't do and make changes that are necessary to take us forward and seeing our population ballooning, I think we might go lower than where we are now. So I support the President, and he has done a wonderful job so far, and we encourage him to do more, and he has our full support. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Kamei. Madam Beatrice Kamei.
Sure.
Where's Chief Ramondo? Oh, yeah, okay. Proceed, Madam Kamei. Then
Okay.
followed by Chief Ramondo.
I know my brother is patient enough. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I want to appreciate the State of the Nation address by His Excellency the President, Honorable William Samoei Ruto, on November 20th in this Parliament. Honorable Speaker.
Honorable KJ and the Honorable Abdisirat Khalif. Please consult in low tones. Proceed, Kamei.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Speaker, at least so that they also listen to me. You know, Keche is one of those guys we looked up to when we were listening to many of the good things he used to say in this country. So I believe, and we support what he's doing. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to say that this is a speech, I can say, of the year. You would actually see that, Honorable Speaker, we became very excited at some point, and people called us from home, what is happening there? And we were telling them, we're talking of 2 terms for the President. And then to some point, we said long term. So if there's a way it can be long term, I will be there. Honorable Speaker, the speech is inclusive, all inclusive. Every sector of the economy was included in his speech. And Honorable Speaker, the President took us from the past, how we were before he came to power 3 years ago, where we are at the moment and where we are headed. This is to tell us that he's a visionary leader. And particularly, Honorable Speaker, that the President is lifting the shame that we are getting out of not paying our debts. So that in this case, we are not anymore in the list of the defaulters. Because when he said, it was not, people were not asking if Kenya will default, but when. But now we are not in that list of shame. So I really want to thank the president, and I know he took very serious decisions that entails a lot of sacrifice, a lot of commitment, a lot of so much work. So, and this fact that at least in this country, in this Africa, in this continent, Honorable Speaker, we are moving from 8th position when it comes to matters of GDP, we're coming to position 6. That one alone makes me feel good. At least we are being appreciated and known in Africa. So our economy is rising. And I'm happy with this fact that in next year, 2026, moving from 5% to 5.8, that one is very, very important to me. And knowing this, Honorable Speaker, that even our shilling is strong, at least getting stronger with being at with the 129. That is the exchange rate, and I'm happy for that, Honorable Speaker. And then the many areas of our concern, the Speaker spoke to it, particularly from where I come from in Kericho. Matters of agriculture is very close to our hearts because we are agriculturalists, and particularly the tea production, which is said it has grown, and in this case, improving the earnings from tea from 138 billion in 22 to 215 billion. I appreciate in 24. I appreciate this, but Honorable Speaker, I'm still concerned that even if it is moving to 215, that one is not enough until we see the money in the pockets of the farmers. That is what the farmers, they may not understand all this. They only want to feel and to have the money in the pockets. So I would say that this industry, the tea industry, needs to be looked into seriously. And also the side of dairy farming. Honorable Speaker, as much as we are getting a lot of liters, I want to say that farmers, there's delayed payment to the farmers, the dairy farmers. For 3-4 months, they have not been paid. So new KCC is actually bringing us an issue. Honorable Speaker, I want to speak to the side of sugarcane. I'm happy at the moment.
Please give her an additional 2 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Sugarcane farmers, at least they are also smiling to the bank. We are increasing in the acreage and also getting, they are getting money as expected. Honorable Speaker, when we talk about this private-public partnership, and especially in the side of infrastructure, the JKIA, Honorable Speaker, when we actually visit other countries for official duties, like the other day from South Africa, you'll realize that their airports, the international, actually means international, and their standards are very high. So if our JKIA is improved, I know we will also have more visitors and the tourism industry will improve very, very greatly. Honorable Speaker, in matters of health, I'm happy, and especially if it is from 1st of December, the package for cancer patients will move from 550 to 800. That one will have lifted a burden from the many fundraisings that are done. And I know time is not on our side. Electricity we appreciate, but many families are not connected. Any meeting, any function, event that we attend, our citizens, our wananchi talks of electricity, electricity, electricity. They cannot imagine in this era they are still in darkness and faulty transformers. So I ask the Kenya Power, REREC, and the energy sector to make sure that faulty transformers are changed or are actually replaced. The road sector improved. I'm happy, and especially this Rironi, Naivasha, Nakuru, Mau Summit. That is the road I use, and especially during this festive season. So when it becomes dual, it will save us a lot. Honorable Speaker, sitting on this road for 12 hours is not easy. And Honorable Speaker, noting that there are no toilets on the road, maybe along the road and anywhere else. And you know, Honorable Speaker, we cannot go just like the others, maybe in the forest. So, and being the kind of people we are, so these long hours is not saving us well. But thank you for this road and the many other roads, Honorable Speaker, that will be made dual. And education sector, I'm happy with this, and especially the number of teachers added, and I know come January we'll have more teachers. So as this improvement is done, I ask all of us in the country, and even those who are in the fence, those who always want to say negativity when they don't see anything positive with the president. We came from very far. Where we are, we know we've improved, and where the president is taking us, it is the real Canaan that I know the late Odinga said he was taking people to Canaan. And I'm happy that he joined hands with His Excellency the President. So I want to ask all the people of Kenya, we support His Excellency Dr. William Ruto, and I know come 2027, when we give him the second term, 7 years to come, he will have done great things to this country. At least there's food security. That one is enough for us. And our children going to school, and we are getting clothes. We have the affordable housing. So there is great improvement in this country. So once more, I support, and I want to say that we will support the president, and I will pray for him more. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Chief Oromondo.
Asante Mheshimiwa Speaker kwa kunipatia hii fursa ambao nimeengoja kwa muda mrefu. Labda ilikuwa upungufu wa mitambo kidogo, lakini nimeshukuru. Lakini kwanza Mheshimiwa Speaker, nitoe shukrani zangu na kuunga mkono yale ambayo Mheshimiwa Rais ameweza kuyazungumzia katika mazungumzo yake hapa bungeni. Na kwanza kama mtu ambaye ninatoka Pwani, niseme ya kwamba Mheshimiwa Rais kuna kitu kimoja ama uongozi ambao anauthibitisha katika hii nchi. Na huu ni uongozi wa usawa. Kwa mara ya kwanza katika historia, hata sisi watu wa Pwani tunaona maendeleo yakipatikana vile yanapatikana kwa wenzetu. Na ni uthibitisho hapa ya kwamba Mheshimiwa Rais mwenyewe alizungumza hapa na akataja barabara ambayo inatoka Mombasa mpaka kule Lungalunga. Itatengenezwa pia, hiyo iwe ina njia mbili ya kwenda na kurudi. Pili, tuko na miradi ambayo pia inaendelea Pwani nzima ya barabara, ya stima na kadhalika. Na pia niseme ya kwamba tukiangalia hata maeneo kama vile kule ninatoka Lungalunga, huu mradi wa nyumba pia upo pale Kanana, tutawekewa huo mradi na tayari kandarasi inaendelea. Unakuta ya kwamba pia soko iko, na pia tuna nyumba za watoto ambazo zitajengwa, ambazo wanaita kwa Kiingereza hostels, zitajengwa pale Lungalunga Vocational Training Center, ambazo pia tulikuwa tunajua kwamba yanazungumzwa, wakati wao alikuwa akizungumzwa katika maeneo mengine. Lakini tunataka tuseme ya kwamba sasa uongozi wa Mheshimiwa William Samoei Ruto tumeona ya kwamba ni wa usawa, na kwa sababu hiyo tunasema ya kwamba tunashukuru hata kwa miradi ambayo ilikuwa imesahaulika kama vile daraja la Mwachande, na ni miundo msingi ambayo alizungumzia wakati akitoa hotuba yake ya kwamba anaenda kuhakikisha kwamba miundo msingi inagawa kwa usawa katika nchi nzima. Na nataka niseme hapa, hiyo daraja ya Mwachande ilianguka kutoka mvua ya El Nino. Marais wamekuja, lakini Mheshimiwa William Ruto ndio ameweka guu, na kulingana na ile kasi ambayo inaendelea pale, kwa miezi mingine mitatu wananchi ambao wanaunganisha Msambweni na Lungalunga hawatakuwa na tatizo hilo tena. Kwa hivyo Mheshimiwa Rais anafanya kazi kwa usawa, na niseme ya kwamba swala ambalo lilinitia mshawasha na furaha ni kwamba amewekeza utafiti ambao utafanya hii nchi kuhakikisha kwamba inakuwa na ubunifu na kuangalia masuala ambayo itaipeleka mbele kwa usasa ambao unaendelea kupitia na utafiti. Swala lingine Mheshimiwa Speaker, ni swala ambalo ni la elimu, tunakuta ya kwamba wakati uliopita vyuo vyetu vikuu vilikuwa nusura vifungwe, lakini sasa hivi unakuta ya kwamba ile model ambayo aliweka ya kulipa karo, mimi nina ushahidi kwa sababu niko katika kamati moja ya uhasibu, na wale wakuu wa vyuo wakifika pale huwa wanatoa ithibati ya kwamba huu mfumo unawafaa kwa sababu sasa vyuo viko katika mwelekeo wa sawa. Lakini Mheshimiwa Spika, sitaki nitoke hapa bila kutaja mambo yafuatayo. Kama wapwani kutoka Lamu, Tana River, pale Kilifi, Mombasa, Kwale na Taita Taveta, tuna shida moja ambayo ni ya maji. Isawa inaweza kuwa hiyo miundo msingi ilikuwepo. Kwa mfano, kuna mradi wa Mzima ulikuwa umefanywa miaka mingi iliyopita, ukiangalia viwango vya watu waliokuwepo wakati huo. Kwa sasa Mombasa yenyewe haina maji. Tunavyozungumza, mji wa Lungalunga ambao mimi Chiforomodo natoka hauna maji. Mji wa Kinango hivi tunavyozungumza hauna maji. Na miji mingine yote ukifika pale Kilifi ni tabu, madhila, matatizo kwa sababu ya maji. Namuomba Mheshimiwa Rais katika kuweka sahihi kwangu ama kusahihisha mtihani huu wa maendeleo wa miaka mitatu ambao amefanya, mimi kama Chiforomodo naona amepata 80%. Akijaribu kurekebisha haya masuala ya maji, mimi na hakika hata ndovu kule Mtunga wataondoka.
Give him an additional 2 minutes.
Kwa sababu Mheshimiwa Spika, hilo swala la maji ndilo linafanya sisi kule tunazozana na wanyamapori na matatizo mengine mengi. Haiwezekani katika karne ya 21 leo hii bado tuko na maeneo ambayo watu wanakunywa maji ambayo ni machafu. Kwa hivyo hilo ni swala ambalo katika mtazamo wangu kama mheshimiwa ama mbunge nayewakilisha watu wa Lungalunga na hata wa Pwani kwa ujumla, tunaomba Mheshimiwa Rais swala la maji alitilie guu na ahakikishe ya kwamba sisi kama watu wa Pwani tunapata maji safi, na hapo atakuwa amemaliza. Na sio kwamba sifahamu ya kwamba maji yamegatuliwa na kwamba kuna kampuni za maji, lakini ukweli ni kwamba kiwango cha maji kinahitajika ya kwamba serikali iingilie. Ule mradi wa Mwache ambao unaendelea kulingana na mpango uliopo utaadresi sehemu ndogo sana ya Mombasa na sehemu ndogo sana ya Kwale. Hizo sehemu zingine zitakuwa bado zina nini. Kwa hivyo tunaunga mkono Mheshimiwa Rais, tunamuombea na tunamwambia apate nguvu ya kufanya kazi, maana maamuzi yake yalikuwa yanaonekana kwamba sio popular, lakini ukweli ni kwamba Mheshimiwa Rais amefanya kazi kwa muda mfupi. Dola imeimarika na uchumi umeimarika na SHA inafanya kazi, na sisi wabunge pia tunapata nafuu kwa sababu wale wagonjwa wakija tunawaambia ukiwa kwa SHA wewe unapata nini. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika kwa hii nafasi.
Mheshimiwa Chiforomondo, si dola imeimarika, ni shilingi yetu ya Kenya imeimarika
dhidi ya dola.
Dhidi ya dola.
Ndio hivyo tu tunamaanisha hivyo, na asante sana kwa marekebisho.
Honorable members, we now adjourn the House. This debate is for 4 days. It's the address by the President, so we still have 3 more days. The time being 6:40 p.m. This House stands adjourned until Wednesday, the 26th of November, 2025 at 9:30 a.m.